him for that. Oh, is Mama Max the person who accused the one guy of child abuse? Yeah, something like that. But it's much more weirder. So essentially, he was like this big YouTuber that was exposing child predators, right? But people kind of got on his case because there was this one guy he ended up talking about named Camden Gerard Davis, who was like this really weird, freaky kind of like guy. Thought he was like a vampire or something like that. And he created like this little sex cult or something with these girls. And they all came forward to say that they were part of a cult. And then he was doing these terrible things to them, which is terrible. You know, that should never happen to anybody. So essentially, you know, Mama Max was doing it. And then he wasn't getting enough attention for the topic. So he ended up calling out Charlie Moist Critical about it to kind of get more attention on it, which ended up blowing up in Max's face because everybody was like, well, you can't just force other YouTubers to talk about the stuff that you want to talk about. So, and that led to like this whole downhill of Max being kind of made to be like some crazy, you know, unlevel-headed type of guy. At the time, yeah, it wasn't a good look for Max, but a lot has happened since then. But he did just drop a video that it kind of him telling his side. It's 2.5 hours though, so we're gonna put it on 1.5. I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to get through the whole thing today. And then there's another video that comes after that where he calls out Mudahar, who apparently, according to MP, I hate. Apparently I hate Mudahar. He's like, oh, he called out Mudahar. How can you know who Mudahar is? He's like God's gift to humanity, which, you know, Mudahar has done some things that rightfully he deserves to be called out for. So what's up, Winter Rose? Good to see you. We got a winter rose and a gypsy rose. Are we gonna get a summer rose? Or a fall rose? Is there even roses in the fall? I don't know. A spring rose. There you go. Spring roll. Even better. Delicious. Stranger, he wasted 3 minutes of my life. Second time. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, would you look at that? Someone's
y'all's
guilty
is crazy.
Of being total badass. Chick Dugs approves this message.
Carla Stop super chatted $2. I heard EG is quitting his job and starting a GFM.
I am. I'm gonna quit doing streaming and I'm just gonna start fundraising, because apparently that's something you can do now. You don't have to stream. Why stream or waste your time putting out any energy entertaining people when you could just start a GoFundMe, pay other people to do it for you, and then just wait for the money to roll in. Seems like a good way for me to make a living. So all right, as I said, we're gonna be talking about Mama Max, the Mother Max one himself. So this is the video that Max did here. Let me get this out of here. That was one of the songs I played. Let me close Discord because God forbid I don't want to show what's in there. Anyway, let's see what Max has to say. I'm gonna go. By the way, I'm going into this being as fair as I possibly can. Okay, I'm gonna be incredibly fair. I'm gonna go into this acting as though I have nothing. I don't know anything about him, because I think that's the only way that you can be fair. Because let's be honest, the well is quite tainted regarding Max now. So I think the only way to truly be fair to this guy is to do it from a clean slate, right? It said job. It probably did.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Year Late Mama Max cancellation response video. This is a very dense video, so I've divided it into 5 main sections: introduction and recap, Night Ducks, Nexpo, and Mudahar, Spencer's allegations, personal questions, and Belfgore. With that said, let's go and have fun.
We're gonna skip the Belfgore part because it's just him getting a dog back, and it's just kind of it's just a long kind of I don't know, just Belfgore. All right, that's all you need to know is Belfgore.
Hi. Hello. Why should we trust you? There's 2 sides to every story, and I'm sure you've gotten hundreds of one side. But there's still a whole other side you haven't seen yet, but that's going to change. What happened? That's a lot to explain. So a survivor reached out to me for help regarding a case of an alleged cult leader and child predator.
I mean, take one look at that guy. He don't look like a guy that's be getting a lot of, well, maybe we'll skip the dog story, J-Sauce. I'll just, you know, the dog story doesn't really have a whole lot to do with a lot of this other stuff, so, but there's an echo. No! I'll fix it.
And asked me if I could platform them to tell their story.
Okay,
I'm going
not
to start
that
a new
one.
format where we platform the survivors and let them have a voice. But I quickly realized
There we
that
go, I
we needed
fixed the
help
echo.
given the gravity of this case, and the purpose of our campaign evolved to find more survivors in
I
order
got
to
it. I
build
fixed the double echo. Thank you guys. My double echo. We're gonna have to just come up with a whole gang, the double echo gang.
a criminal case against the accused party, since he was still active.
Falcon County Sheriff's Office, Portwood.
Can I speak to?
So that's a girl
Officer
named
Batch
Spencer.
number-
She was the main
And so I
victim in
reached
this
out
whole
to
thing.
institutions, journalists,
I know, I
lawyers,
fixed it.
and experts in the field
I know
of
that
cult
the chat's
psychology.
delayed, so you guys are gonna
leader
yell at me for
uses
like another
these
12
techniques
minutes.
to gain undue influence over his or her followers. We've often referred to this as brainwashing or mind control.
Yes.
But most notably, I reached out to my peers on YouTube. The most influential among them was Charlie, who has helped me in the past.
You never
This also comes
challenged
into play with
Charlie.
Mama Max's video, if you remember that controversy that happened. I imagine most people who don't know the situation and don't know Mama Max will see this and just be like, what the fuck is going on here?
His support has always been invaluable.
His
and
name's
since
Big
I've seen him
Moist.
fight corruption before, and he is one of the most respected.
By the way, fun fact, guys, me and Moist Critical were the bestest of friends. That's what, we both got long hair. What more do you need than that? So I tell everybody this, me and Moist Critical, the bestest of friends. We both got tattoos. We both have big guns. He's got a big gun. I've got a big gun in a different way.
voices on the platform, I truly believed he could make a difference. But it was difficult to get anyone to just listen to the survivors.
I'm scheduling a mass call within the next few months between many high-profile YouTubers and the cult survivors I've been working with. I would like to invite you to be present just for 15 minutes. Your presence is all that matters. These girls want to feel heard. They are like the real deal. Do y'all think you can make it? I'm down to talk about it privately with you guys if you're down for a quick call sometime soon. I'm very modest. I'm a super modest guy, just like Moist Critical.
So I created artificial drama to get people's attention. I could literally cancel you, Charlie. And to be clear,
That's where
I
he
was always
fucked up.
upfront that the drama was fake.
That's where he messed up. If he didn't call out Charlie and tell him he could cancel him, I don't think that this would have happened, but he did do that, so.
This is a call to action disguised as a cancellation.
And that worked. Until it didn't.
Stop ignoring Mama Max. Yeah, so here, you want me to talk about it a little bit? That rubbed me the wrong way.
I still don't feel good about that decision.
As you
But then
shouldn't.
The people
was a
that I
terrible
trusted,
decision.
the people that I looked up to.
It would be the equivalent of like me demanding Nerd City to come on and show me love for a topic that I care about that he might not care about. Like you just can't ask that of people. Everybody. If he it should be voluntarily only. If someone feels influenced enough that they want to come on and speak about something, that's up to them. But you can't force people to do it. I understand that he was trying to just drum up attention for something he considered to be very, very important to him. But at the same time, you can't like demand people show up. He should have played the whole clip too, because he proceeded to say, because I am a PDF hunter. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, he was doing well for a while, He was kind of like a Chris Hansen type figure in the YouTube space. And then it all just fell apart for him. No, I do not demand it, Carla. Stop putting words out there. I said if. It would be like if I demanded it, like obviously, you can't just demand your friends to show up who have more clout than you because you care about a story. That's just not how the internet works.
The people that I consider
Or else I
my
would
best
demand
friends,
MP to show up.
They all turned on me.
I'd like to, this is from Nexpo. I'd like to address, Nexpo's a guy who makes like Nick Crowley's type documentaries that are like, the worst moments on TV and stuff like that. Really like horror driven type stuff, reality horror. And Nexpo says, I'd like to address something many of you have been wondering since we have so much audience overlap. There's a situation that's been unfolding lately regarding Mama Max and some very unethical practices he's been employing with his latest video subject. I'd like to, on the record, state that I fully disavow everything he's doing. The situation with him has admittedly been an absolute mess, and I've tried to give him advice on how to navigate through it properly. Yet it's gone ignored at every turn. I've since cut ties with Mama Max completely. See, this is the problem with YouTubers, right? They'll cut their friends off in a second if they feel like it's a risk at all to their brand. Which, in a way, I get because you work so hard for your brand. You can't have one person screwing it up for you, but. At the same time, like you'll see the story develops in a specific way that things aren't as black and white as they seem, I cannot stand by someone who acts the way he does while handling such a delicate situation without any sense of tact. I am quite frankly embarrassed over I ever stood up for him in the past, and while I can't take that part back, I see this sounds like Nexpo's just kind of a bit of a, you know, what have you done for me lately kind of guy. To any of you affected by my friendship with the support of Max in the past, I sincerely apologize. I think this makes him look kind of bad, to be honest. Like, I'm so sorry I ever stuck up for him. Like, shut up. Stop. Just be like, you know what? I don't condone what he did. He was my friend. I'm not really, you know, it's kind of whatever he's doing is kind of his thing. But, like, to go on and say, like, I disavow everything he's ever said. Like, stop. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you were his best friend. You were his good friend for a long time.
In an attempt to protect their own reputations, because they saw what was happening to me, and then they resorted to creating their own deceptions around me, so that way they could bury me. No one will ever believe what I say. I'm a fraud. I'm a liar. I'm a manipulator. I'm a deceiver. I'm a monster. And then they wipe their.
I don't like. Yeah, K-Huck didn't finish what she was saying. She was saying Nexpo is and now I'm just on a. I'm just dying to know. April says, Mama Max lied point blank. He pretended to be a hero and made up so much. Pedo fighter seeking revenge. It's all a lie. FYI, Nexpo is hurt by his real life friend. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get it. We haven't gotten to that part. We just started. But, you know, we're going to try to go into this as fair as possible. Okay. I'm going into this acting like I don't know anything about Mama Max, even though I kind of do. And yes, he did. Well, actually, we'll get to that part. I don't want to talk about it yet, but we'll get to that part, okay? Because I do feel like he's kind of getting a little screwed over a bit. You know, did he fuck up doing the Charlie thing? Absolutely. Should have never done that. But there are certain things in this video that I think will kind of make you go, if you're being fair at least, if you're at least being fair, it does kind of seem like that, you know? Snaky. He does seem very snaky. Well said, K-Huck. You know, at the very least, a lot of these guys are going to come off incredibly snaky, incredibly self-indulgent, very, I don't know how else to put it. They're just very selfish, very, you know, bully mentality, mob mentality, which commentary, surprise.
And pretended like I never existed. But I do exist.
This is true.
And I do have my own side to all of this. And that's what I'm doing now, is clarifying some things, presenting some new information.
I heard he's just going to pay each person in the chat $1,000 for
hopefully in the near future we will resolve all of this drama, so that way we can get back to the more important work. Do you acknowledge that you've made mistakes, and if so, which? Of course, I've made mistakes. And I think one of my biggest mistakes was covering...
I will say the one thing that I know it's kind of his shtick, but I will say it does feel like the dramatics are a bit much sometimes. Like, if you were ever going to pull the voice off and not, like, do, like, the whole shtick, this might be the one where you just want to be Max and not Max, like Mama Max.
Dangerous content at a time I was too immature and uneducated on the subject matter. It's important to note that I did not have a mentor.
Yeah, Rogero, I think that's a good way to put it.
But I was mostly learning as I was going. And I felt what I was doing was much too serious to ignore.
Why that picture,
child exploitation that is happening all over the internet still does not get enough exposure to this day. And that leads me to another big mistake, which was mixing fiction and non-fiction for cases that are too volatile for dramatization. At the time, I felt I could do no wrong if entertainment helps bring awareness to these...
Fiction and non-fiction. See, I don't think there's any place for non-fiction in a story like this. Like, when you're talking about real people who've really been victims, who are really hurt, there's 0 point for fiction to be a part of this without clear transparency that those particular parts are fiction. And I think that's a part where people are saying he's lying and stuff like that, because he never, as far as I'm aware, I never really watched Mama Max, but he never really like was transparent about which parts of his story were fictional and which part of his stories were true. So when you mix the two together, you're just asking to be in trouble.
Real issues, but retrospectively it just creates confusion around what's real and what's not in the long term. But I have been quite transparent about this since the very beginning.
Yeah, April,
all information
that's exactly
was hidden
what I'm
or
saying.
censored, names and identities were altered to protect the privacy of non-consenting parties, all dramatization individuals' dialogue are fictional and meant for storytelling purposes.
How would you explain that? It's like half fiction,
I feel like he took this out of. You ever see those crime shows where they do like the reenactments and it shows up and it says these are dramatizations for entertainment purposes only. All these people are actors and not really the people who were victims. I think maybe he stole that idea from those shows, but wasn't as transparent about it. And he knew it, and maybe he thought that a lot of his audience knew it, but in reality, everybody was taking what he said as face value.
Kind of a story.
I call it hybrid, like documentaries, because it's like, yeah,
Okay.
it is half fiction that is parallel to the real story, and then there's just the real story.
Which is why the full investigation was publicly available in the mega drives that were linked in the paste bins of my video descriptions, that were then reported and taken down, with claims that they contained CSUM. But there was no CSUM, it was just documenting predators.
This YouTube Reddit thread says Mama Max mega upload account suspended and reported to law enforcement. Mama Max occasionally referenced paste bins in his description of his videos. They've been removed from YouTube video, but I found his paste bin account and his Vimeo. Clicking through, I found some links to his Mega NZ account. I was shocked to see this notification when I tried to open one of them. He recently brought up in an interview with Spencer that he's being investigated by the FBI. I wonder why this is.
And their interactions with me. The entire investigation from accessing the platform, creating an account, interacting on the site, speaking with predators, speaking with victims, and everything that happened from beginning to end were present in OBS screen recordings on those mega drives. There is so much information that I would include in this very video pertaining to previous investigations that I now cannot present because these drives...
Some of y'all just be getting too comfortable on the internet, man. I'm telling you right now. Some of y'all just be too comfortable with strangers online. Stop it.
I did not create a backup because I was not comfortable keeping all of this evidence of predators on my personal computer. So my team helped me upload it and let it go to the public. Mega is quite clear.
April says, I remember something about a werewolf hybrid cult with vampires. It could all be a dream. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it, right? There's just werewolves and vampires, leviathans, and all kinds of, like, you know, I think Xylee called him Blackula, the guy that's, like, the subject that got him in trouble. Whatever that dude's name is, Camden Gerard Davis, who had, like, the picture with him and the fangs. It's very strange stuff. Very internet, very... I don't know how to really describe it, just really dumb internet shit.
That you can report objectionable material. Because our end-to-end zero-knowledge encryption means we do not know the nature of content that is uploaded, Mega is only able to take down content when a public link has been reported to us. And since these were videos of predators getting naked and
oh my God,
under the impression that I am a minor, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision. But that was the only source proving that these investigations...
I mean, I can understand why he wouldn't want this on his computer, right? It's this weird shit to be having on your computer, but hosting it publicly... I mean, I don't know what I would do in this... yeah, terminally online shit. Exactly, Nomad. That's exactly what it is. Terminally online shit. I don't know what I would do in this situation. If I had evidence like this, I wouldn't really want to keep it on my... Maybe I would put it on an external drive or something and hide it away. But I don't know if I would really want to ever put a guy kind of gooning on my YouTube channel as evidence or something. But yes, it's very strange.
Were real. And since they are gone, it has been very easy for everyone to say that they are just fake. But obviously they are not. These platforms and predators are very real. Some of these same creators have covered them with me on multiple occasions.
So some of you may have seen the video that both myself and Ryan did, but most importantly Mama Max did, on a website called kidschat.net. It is a haven for predators.
We made reports to the FBI and NCME.
You can't take away that this guy did a lot of good stuff. I mean, you could say that maybe he embellished it a little bit, but, you know, the guy did bring light to a lot of real shitty people online.
Together. And I don't know how anyone can think that the predators are fake. No, these are not paid actors. These are child predators.
Yeah, I don't think for a second they
have
fake.
Records.
And the sheriff says admits to sending pornography to a child, is now charged with pandering obscenity. Wayne Barnett is 60 years old, and the sheriff says Barnett sent the images to a 12-year-old.
I disagree with
I'd like
that.
to clarify that I never actually claimed to personally get these arrests.
You went on and you said this guy was arrested. It was because of me. It was because of my video.
But I never said this.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, my brother in Christ. We know PDF files exist online. The crime here is you're being cringe as fuck about it. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a shtick, right? I guess you got, maybe. I don't know. I guess maybe at the time it was working for him, especially for like the true crime people. They were eating it up until this all happened.
Anytime
but you're not
a predator
wrong.
is arrested, I always credit my audience who do the legwork.
And it was all thanks to you.
And finally, I think platforming survivors before we were ready to handle the public was a huge mistake.
Yes,
I did
agree.
read books and reach out to experts and institutions to educate myself on the subject matter. I did get the consent of the victims who appeared in these videos before release.
Well, there's a part that he says specifically, April, that I want you to hear, because I do think that it vindicates him a little bit, at least in one interview.
Them. And I did ask my peers for feedback, which most of them did not have anything
That's $1 million
negative to say
question,
until
Sol.
after the backlash. But clearly none of us were ready for what ended up happening, and I do take a great share of responsibility for what happened.
I will say that like everybody jumped on this guy like a pack of wild dogs on an antelope, injured. And while it's fine, it was a big story at the time. It just seemed like, everybody was like really like, yes, finally. Like they were starving for a drama story and they got one, and it was Mama Max, and everybody came after him with like whips and chains and pitchforks. And we've seen that time and time again online, people doing that to creators. Dude, I watched his content for a while at the beginning of his channel. I get his ego just wanted mega cringe. I think it was probably like the girls who were like true crime fans, Nomad, being like, yeah, more of that. That's awesome. What's up, Phallic Weapon? Still the greatest name ever. Yeah, no worries. It blew up his Patreon, which I didn't get with. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It was his shtick, right? And I think he probably would have been fine had he not did the whole fictional part. If he just if he didn't call out Moist Critical, and he didn't do like the whole fictional mixed with nonfiction stuff, he probably would have been fine. He probably would still be a popular creator to this day. But those two mistakes there were what really did him in.
I don't feel good about it.
Hey, don't hate on no old ladies, April. I got plenty of old ladies in my audience.
But I'm always learning and trying to do better. Genuine question here. Why did you betray Night Docs despite all that he did for you? Is he lying, or is he telling the truth that you made false allegations concerning him? I actually really want to talk about this.
Good.
So just for some background, I met Jim Pagel, creator of Night Docs, at PAX South 2020. This is where I also met Nexpo, Gahar, and some other YouTubers. This was my first experience meeting other YouTubers, besides a random collaboration with Official Duck Studios in 2019.
Welcome! Go! Trash door!
Anyway, this was my first real friend group with other influencers.
Okay, well then, as long as you're one too.
To say the least.
The way I look at it, April, is, older men tend to gravitate towards younger girls online. And then, I feel like it's the same way. Like, you get a young, strapping young man, the older ladies are going to enjoy it. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he tried to pull big YouTubers onto his side by using his audience, and he went into the vampire werewolf stuff, and it got this one, not a good look for him. But at the same time, I think that everybody dogpiling him the way they did, I feel a little weird about that. But at the same time, I understand why they did it. I don't think that he maybe deserved it. And I was one of them too, because I didn't know anything about him. And at the time, it was all like, let's just... whoever can get the best dig on him. And I feel bad about that because I didn't really know anything about Mama Max, Then again, I'd have to go back and watch what I said because I don't know what I said. Night Docs was promising for a while. That Canadian story was really interesting. The one about the weird sound or whatever. Yeah, I've never watched any of Night Docs' material. I spend too much time editing to watch a whole lot of people. If it ain't NC or, other commentators and learning about stories or Chud, a lot of times I just miss a lot.
But I became very close with these people, specifically Night Docs and Nexpo.
No! Guys, whoa, guys! What's going on? Guys, I said check up! Stop! Drawers! Stop! The drawers! Not my drawers! Give me the fucking camera!
And Ruby and I ended up moving in with Night Docs when he invited me. And from what I remember, Jim was a very kind person and an extremely loyal friend.
Max and
They're always
Ryan,
the ones who get
Expo,
hurt the worst.
Like, those guys are as close to being my brothers as you can be without being blood related. I mean, I would do anything for those dudes.
And I have so many fond memories with Jim. But Jim would often get on Ryan's nerves, Nexpo, when we would film together. I remember this happened with pretty much every episode of Cringe Kitchen, as well as Ben Drowns Again, that we all filmed together. And I think it was because Jim has a...
Yeah, Mama Max definitely deserved a lot of criticism. I just don't know if he deserved, like, the entire internet dogpiling on him. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, the stuff he did with Charlie, trying to fake cancel him, that was so dumb. I don't even know if he was trying to fake cancel him. He might have at the time thought he really could cancel him. It was just a really, really bad idea to do that, especially with Charlie, who just has probably the most goodwill any creator could have online.
ADHD. He is prescribed Adderall and often drank a lot of energy drinks on top of a nicotine addiction. So Jim would often get lost in whatever he was doing, and this would result in Ryan getting pissed off and venting to me about Jim.
Probably bring maybe Max and Nexpo along too, if they're up for it. I know Max will be all on board with it. Max is like, always like, whenever I ask Max about anything, he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Like, he's really awesome that way. Ryan tends to be a little busier, and all that. So
yeah, I think so. E2E shift.
Not as easy to get a hold of.
It had to be a slow time
not
for
as
John
easy to get a hold of
everybody
Nexpo
to
all the
jump on
time.
this.
He also shuts his phone off quite a lot too, so he's hard to get a hold of unless he wants to be available.
Ryan and I would.
Yeah, you're cooked when you got a nicotine addiction, guys. It's over. It's over for you if you got a nicotine addiction.
Become closer than brothers. I think just because he was a year older than me and our opposing personalities mixed well. And there were times when he would ask me questions about living with Jim. So when Ryan and I would hang out without Jim, he was always very curious about what was going on at his place. So he would ask me questions. Ryan always loved talking about Jim. Anyway, I fell in love with a woman who was helping me hunt predators, and Jim graciously let me invite her to stay with me for a week. And this is when I started hearing the first rumors about Jim from this girlfriend, because she was chronically online and spent most of her time on all of our Discord servers and participated in a lot of the gossip that happens on these servers. It wasn't anything serious, it's just that Jim was very flirty with women, which isn't a crime, so I didn't really care. But again, when Ryan would ask me questions, I would answer him honestly. And since he was also hearing some of the same stuff from his own Discord
Mama Max got a nice set of teeth on him. I'll give him that. That boy knows how to brush.
Server, we would compare notes and discuss what we've been hearing. And then we started witnessing firsthand how Jim would behave with women in real life, saying some pretty inappropriate things that would create some awkward situations.
Long story
and it's
short,
not like he was hurting
simp.
anyone, but I think because of that and the rumors and some other personal stuff, over time we started to distance ourselves from Jim, and eventually we just stopped talking to him. That was the extent of my relationship with Night Ducks. But things did not get that bad for him until VidCon 2022, when Ryan told Mudahar about all of this. And that's when Jen, Mudahar's wife, told us about her experiences with Night Dogs.
You know, in regards like Night Dogs. The whole situation is like, you hear some things and then you're trying to figure out where they're coming from, and then you find out, it was originating from Max the whole time.
Yeah.
Not that Night Dogs doesn't have fault of things of his own.
Now I'm going to leak her DMs that she sent during my cancellation.
All right. Hey, I remember a couple years ago hearing the whole Jim and the waitress story, and that you felt uncomfortable was a remember things wrong. It was some joke about Jim, about him, and I potentially spit roasting with a waitress, and that I talked to us there. It came out of nowhere, and it was just a surprise. It just surprised me, on top of me thinking it was just a weird and disrespectful LOL. He's saying now the waitress was into it. From what I remember, she wasn't around at all when the joke was made, and I don't recall him talking to her directly unless it was while I was in the bathroom. I don't know, mainly remember everyone there being like, what the fuck, when he said that to me. I can't speak for the waitress if she'd be into it or talk or not. These texts are so small. Bear with me. I'm just trying to piece together some things, because cool if not, pedo, I guess, was still out of pocket and obnoxious. I feel for the dude. I feel like it's a textbook divorced dad behavior. I mean, she ain't wrong. He ain't wrong there. As for the other claims, I have no idea. It got too pushy with me before I met Muda. He can't read a room. So again, the guy's a simp. It's not the first simp on the internet. Won't be the last simp on the internet. It happens quite often. And the guy's hanging out with these young YouTubers who are probably just getting all the attention from all these girls, and he just wants, a girl of his own. He's probably lonely. I guess I'd have to know how pushy he actually was before I could judge him, but he's not the first guy to hit on a girl who doesn't want to be hit on, you know what I mean?
To a witness who will be speaking shortly. Hey, I remember a couple years ago hearing the whole Jim and the waitress story.
Oh, I just spent all this time reading this.
Was I remember things wrong? It was some joke from Jim about him and I potentially spit roasting with a waitress that talked to us there. It came out of nowhere and it just surprised me, on top of me thinking it was just weird and disrespectful, lol. He's saying now the waitress was into it. From what I remember, she wasn't around at all when the joke was made, and I can't recall him talking to her directly. Unless it was while I was in the bathroom, I don't know. I mainly remember everyone there just being like, what the fuck, when he said that to me. I can't speak for the waitress if she'd be into that, talk or not. I'm just trying to piece together
Nomad's
some things
enjoying
because
his
it's not a pedo, I guess.
Zins? You getting them Zins in, Nomad? Hang on one second, guys. I need to go get a drink. I'm so sorry. I'll hate myself if I don't have a drink to have for the rest of this stream. This is gonna be a long one. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I had to, this is going to be a long stream, and I know I'm going to need a drink, and I don't have my daughter here to go run and get me one, so. EG, I need an IV bag, exactly. That's exactly what I want to go get. All right. Let me just tap it up. I would know how to do that pretty easily. Not Zins, I order Swedish pouches. They are better quality and last longer. Even the Swedish version of Zins is better. Ooh. Ooh.
Still out of pocket and obnoxious. I feel for the dude.
Pillows.
I feel like it's textbook divorcee dad behavior.
Good to be back.
As for the other claims, I have no idea. He got too pushy with me before I met Muda. He can't read a room. So just for everyone to be crystal clear on this, Mudahar and Jen were already saying, and I quote, Night Docs is a fucking creep. Even Mudahar himself admits he did not hear any of the rumors from me.
In regards to Jim or Night Docs, there were two allegations. One of them, which had come from Max, allegedly, in amongst a friend group, about him not being necessarily the best dad. There were two key things. One of them was him being asleep most days, and then the other was that Max would have to step in and feed his children cereal or whatever else was in the house. This is something that I heard, again, not from Max, but through our internal friend group. And while this one definitely raised some questions about, okay, you gotta be attentive if you're the dad, it wasn't necessarily the most serious thing. However, what was more serious was the allegation where he had allegedly started unzipping himself in front of a minor, exposing himself over a Discord video call. Now, I actually confronted Jim about this one specifically because I wasn't exactly, I needed to know the bottom of this truth, or I need to understand or at least get his side, because obviously I met the person in reality. Me and my wife confronted him, and in this situation, Jim obviously categorically denied that he had done anything, but I didn't have any evidence for or against Jim, and in spite of...
And if that's the case, then you got to take him for his word, I guess. If someone just randomly says something to you, I don't think that you should just blindly believe them, honestly, because there's so much stuff that gets spread around the internet. Like, if you can't prove it and he's denying it and he's your friend, he should get the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion.
All that, I still decided to, hold back my connection, not talk as much anymore. We weren't necessarily the most talkative people anyways, but this absolutely sealed the deal. And that's just because I don't really like to interact with somebody that even has that kind of an ick on them or that stain. Because again,
I have a mini fridge next to me. It's just over.
I just decided to dial back the friendship that I had. Obviously, considering everything now, I'm more inclined to believe Jim at his word, given the other party.
So let's break this down. Mudahar claims that the
okay, so that's a really good example right there of what just happened. Okay, so before Mudahar didn't really believe Jim because his wife said that Jim was a little pushy with her, But now that everybody's turning on Mama Max, he's more open to believing Jim now. That do you not see like where there's like a massive issue there with that? You know, just him being able to so quickly change, and you'll notice a theme here with Muda, right? Like I've never had a problem with Muda. You know, he's made a lot of fuck ups. I think what he did to Chud Logic was absolutely atrocious. But with that said, I do feel like Mudahar has a reputation for waiting to see what the way trends are gonna go, and then he just hops on once he feels like it's safe. I'm not the only person who thinks that. And while some people may say, well, you know, that's just brand safety, other people might say that that's kind of sleazy too, a little bit sneaky.
There were 2 allegations. One of them, only one of them, had come from me, allegedly, which was that Jim was a bad dad. And then Mudahar even admits he...
Like, you should be able to... Maybe it's just me, but, like, I have no problem, like, going against the trend if it means me standing up for what I believe is right, you know? I don't care how much hate I get.
Did not hear...
Yeah, no, Matt, ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It was from an anonymous source within the internal friend group that he intentionally does not name who was spreading these rumors to him. And then the other allegation, which Mudahar has already implied, did not come from me, because remember, only one of them came from me allegedly, which was that Jim was exposing himself to...
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Falak, that's a great example, right? The minute Nux started getting a lot of shit, he kicked Nux Taku. Now, I don't personally like Nux Taku, but that's a great example for Muda being like, uh-oh, my brand's in jeopardy. Okay, Nux gotta go, right? Now, granted, Nux was doing some weird shit, but, you know, it just backs up, you know, the idea that Muda waits for things to be safe, and then he comes in and acts like he's always felt this way, which kind of shiesty, if you ask me.
Minor over a Discord video call. So if these rumors did not come from me, who did they come from? It was Ryan who spread those rumors to Mudahar, and from my memory...
Oh, that's because that's my capture card doing that, Rogera.
And Jen spread those rumors to everyone else, telling every other YouTuber that NightDocs is a predator who abuses his kids. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what these people do. For the record, I was not even present while this was happening.
I just think Nux is weird. I know some of you might like him, but for me, he's just a little odd for my taste. Listen, I'll give you a breakdown later if you have time. I'll be happy to listen to it, Phallic Weapon. I'm sure some of you guys love Nux, but for me, I don't know. I've seen him like steal people's jokes and stuff, and for me, like that's just like I remember there was one specific instance when everybody was making fun of praise of Shadows. Nux Taku totally stole one of Brandon Buckingham's jokes and used it in his video without crediting Brandon Buckingham for it. So that to me kind of made me feel like, oh, this guy, you know, I guess he's counting on not everybody watching Brandon Buckingham's video, but yeah, that kind of to me just kind of rubbed me the wrong way with him.
But you could...
Nux Taku's the guy that was with the big-breasted anime girl that we were watching that everybody was hating when he was breaking down his battle with Muda. I don't know if you were here for that, Soul, but he's like a purple animated guy.
We were all responsible for spreading rumors about NightDocs. But of course, when I start getting canceled, they reached out to Jim and pinned all of these rumors on me. My statement on the Mama Max video just released today by Nicholas Diorio, where I explained for the first time what Max did to me. I'm grateful to Nexpo, Ordinary Gamers, and others who listened.
See, this is bullshit because you could tell NightDocs just wants to be accepted back into the gang again. You know, like, and he'll sell out Max because Max sold out him, you know, and turned his back on him. It's just his way of being like, how do you feel? Like, how does it feel? It sucks. This whole idea in commentary where someone's always got to be the enemy at all times, I think is toxic as shit, to be honest, in my opinion.
Grateful to you.
It's always got to be an enemy somewhere.
I know people have been wondering where I went and why I fell off so abruptly. My comment section is full of questions. The truth is that over a 3 to 4 year time span, I experienced one traumatic event after another. I was suffering from severe depression. Then I went through a messy, identity-shattering divorce.
There you go. Now you remember.
I loved and knew me better than anyone rejected me. I lost my job, facing more rejection about my ability to do what I was hired to do professionally. My grandmother died. My house flooded during the big Texas freeze, and since I no longer had a job, I was on a mortgage payment deferment, which meant I believed I didn't have home insurance, so I wasn't able to repair the damage and my house became a depressing mess, falling into disrepair with a concrete slab for a floor. My house then caught fire during a live stream. On top of all this, some of my closest friends who I thought knew me well completely rejected me and cut me off. So this is true. We all cut him off. There were multiple reasons for why this happened. Some I already explained.
I mean, just look at this picture. One reason why they cut him off. I'll give you one reason why they cut him off. He's the older guy who just doesn't fit in. These are all young guys, and Jim was an older guy. Jim liked hanging out with the younger guys and made him feel like he was young again. These guys are all younger guys who were just like, who's this old guy hanging out with us? You know? Now, I think that Max said they were only, or maybe Nexpo was the year difference from him. But, yeah, it's just, you know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out why Jim was picked on.
And there's others I probably don't even know about.
When I lost all my friends, I just went away from YouTube and all that. Like, I just lost all of my self-esteem. I just felt like I was like irredeemable. There was something wrong with me that nobody would ever want to be around me, and I had no idea what it was.
Of course, Diorio's involved in this.
Obviously, just a piece of shit.
So you'd say this impacted your career, I guess?
Absolutely, it impacted.
Although I'm sure that Diorio was probably giving Night Docs just as much shit and talking just as much shit on him until he became useful as a victim. Just saying.
My career, I completely fell off.
And while I was given an explanation, it didn't make any sense to me. Then I found out that Max, who I had opened my home to and allowed to live rent-free just so I could have a friend nearby to help alleviate the loneliness and isolation I was feeling, had gone behind my back and spread false allegations of the worst sort about me to my closest friends and didn't even have the courage to tell me. Worst of all, I could not defend myself because not only did I not even know my character had been completely assassinated, he had so much credibility both publicly and privately that I didn't stand a chance of being believed.
Keep it chill. We do not need you to become a phallic weapon.
I simply wasn't strong enough anymore.
His allegations against me range from I'm a neglectful parent to I am a creep, that I'm a pedophile. Essentially, the one that I was most
But like, I'm just saying, like, look how quickly Diorio swoops in to get, you know, get involved and get, you know, whoever he could use against Max to make his story better. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what he's doing.
Third by really was when he was calling me a pedophile. He wasn't saying it publicly. And none of the allegations he had against me were said publicly. He was doing it all behind the scenes with the people that I was closest to.
The truth is that we were all doing this behind the scenes. But it seems no one else wants to take accountability for it, among some of the many other things they don't want to take any accountability for. But don't worry, we will get to them later. And as you will soon see, their noses are not clean.
I highly doubt Max was the only person talking shit. I'm just putting it on there. Like, I would bet my life that every single person was talking shit on Jim, because that's how they do it. They're the mob mentality. That's how these guys operate.
Time I'd completely run out of money and knew it was too dangerous for me to live alone, so I moved in with my parents, further eroding my self-esteem. My father and brother and I spent months repairing the damage from the flood and the fire and sold my house. I had what seemed to be undeniable empirical evidence that I was a toxic piece of shit that people were better off without. With nothing left to live for and no visible path to an existence worth enduring, I came within hours of doing something very stupid and very permanent.
Never
I had a plan, a place, and had made up my mind. I planned on leaving no note, because at this point I felt like I was so worthless that it wasn't even worth explaining anything. And then my daughter
appreciate
said,
you,
the image of their faces too young to understand and so unconditionally loving, it wasn't fair. My parents checked me into a mental health facility that evening where I stayed for over a week and a half. So I do feel really bad for Jim, and I can empathize with what he was going through, considering I'm going through pretty much the exact same thing that these same people are claiming I orchestrated. Pretty interesting, huh? Until only last week, when Nexpo called me to tell me what Max had done to me behind the scenes. I really believed everything that had happened to me.
See, I'm sorry, but I feel like Nexpo's a lying piece of shit. I'm just gonna say it. I know he's a big YouTuber. I know I'm a shitter, and that this probably won't even reach him, but I hate to break it to you, but I think that Max is right during this part. I think that Nexpo was the one who probably started talking shit on Jim. I don't see why Max would randomly change, like, his opinion. Like, Max was probably keeping these secrets for Nexpo when he was his friend, but now he's not his friend, so he has no reason to keep these secrets for him. And Nexpo, it seems like a snake in my opinion. I'm sorry. I just feel that way. I know people well enough, and I know how people act well enough to know when someone is acting like they are, when your one friend is always down to do something with you and your other friend is never available, chances are that one friend doesn't want to be around you. So, you know, it makes sense.
Deserved.
Yeah, and yes, as you said, Daniel Screw, unaliving yourself, you know, think about it before you do it, because chances are you're only going to hurt the people around you.
I'm just now starting to put my life back together. So for any of you that just missed that, Night Docs just revealed that all of this is stemming from a call with Nexpo.
What Ryan initially told me, that him calling me a pedo or whatever, Ryan told me a story that he basically brought me up out of the blue.
So regarding Jim, there were two specific stories that Max really harped on when it came to Night Docs, at least whenever we had our little, I guess, falling out.
What's up, Cold as Ice?
So Max was convinced that Jim was this pedophile creep, and he backed up this claim with, firstly, a story about an inappropriate conversation that he claimed Jim had with a minor. As it turned out, this person was not a minor at all. They had told Jim their age at one point, which I believe was like 25 or so. I'm not entirely sure, but that's that whole story that Max always referred to.
Write gossip, but keep it separate from your channel. Imagine, since he does spooky content, non-drama. Yes. Yeah, fair.
Back whenever he would call Jim a predator.
Good to see you,
another
too.
Story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep. And it involved one trip to a restaurant that he and Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, making moves on the waitress and, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop. And it made this, I guess, situation, or this dinner that they were at, very tense and awkward. Basically, every single time that I was with Max during the time when we had our, I guess, falling out, I guess you could call it, Max would perpetuate this narrative that Jim was this creep, and he would always refer back to these two stories.
If I read, I would, Jay.
I guess I just never really vetted them because Max kind of planted this idea in my head that, oh my god, we're associated with Jim, we have to cut Jim, we cannot be associated with someone like this, he's a pedophile, he's a creep, he's all of these things, and we can't associate with this guy. And in hindsight, it's silly.
Right now, your bullshit detectors are probably going off like crazy because this story makes absolutely no sense.
You're right, Nick.
I mean, it does make no sense. Okay, why would Max want to cut off the guy he's living with? It makes no sense. I feel like the truth is probably somewhere in between what's actually happening. I feel like Nexpo definitely was probably the lead guy talking shit on Jim, but Mama Max joined in so he could continue fitting in with Nexpo and not to alienate himself from the crew, because that's, nobody wants to be the guy that gets turned on, which eventually Mama Max did, but by his own behavior. But I don't believe for a second that this is true. I don't believe for a second that Nexpo's hands are clean and he's some kind of saint coming forward to shed light on how horrible Mama Max was. I feel like Nexpo's just covering his ass the best he can.
My bullshit detector is going off like crazy. So Mudahar made two claims that he literally admits he did not hear from me.
Sarah, I don't think there is a lot of very good pictures
all day,
of
and
Nick,
that there's
though.
a Discord video of him unzipping his pants to a minor, which is completely different from the two claims Ryan is making, which is that Jim was having an inappropriate conversation with a 25-year-old adult that apparently I claimed was a minor, and then that Jim is flirting with a waitress. And their response to these supposed claims is not to investigate it any further. It's just to disassociate from Jim, even though they knew Jim longer than they knew me. They just blindly believed these claims I supposedly made that, again, Mudahar admits I did not make. And, okay, yeah, Nick, you're right. These stories don't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Pretty funny, then, that you made an entire video, your crowning achievement, based on these unsubstantiated claims. Good job, buddy. I have a good therapist. My daughters love me with the childlike innocence that heals with every hug and kiss on the cheek. They know that daddy is sad but are too young to understand. But they truly saved my life by simply being who they are, and the thought of them dealing with the fact that their father wouldn't be around for birthdays, graduations, weddings, all of the boy problems, it kept me alive. If not for myself, for them. I recommend watching Nicholas Diorio's latest video, linked below, talking about what Max has done broadly. You'll hear me speak on the record for the first time about all of this. So just by looking...
Look, they're all like, we got to get Nick more subscribers. We got to get him more clout. I mean, this guy's been around forever, and he's just not getting bigger because he was burning bridges with literally everybody he knew. Like, you can't be friends with Nicholas Diorio. Eventually, you're going to get exposed by him. Even if there's nothing to get exposed for, he'll find something.
At the thumbnail, I can immediately tell that Nicholas Diorio is going to be as honest and objective as possible by giving me additional hair and enhancing the shadows on my forehead to make me look as creepy as possible. It's not like this is an example of visual manipulation and deceptive framing to influence the perception of the audience that all of these drama tubers are known to use. It's clearly an accurate representation of empirical truth and reality, especially given that Nicholas Diorio originally had no criticism when I first showed him the Charlie video, and then once he saw the backlash, he changed his mind to have a few light criticisms. And then after Mudahar recruited him to be his lapdog in the defamation campaign, he took a complete 180 and did everything in his power to make me look as horrible as possible.
He does this so often, right? He just did it with Carl Jobs or Carl Jobs, whatever. He loves Carl Jobs, right? To the point where he copies his music and everything he talks about. he has light criticisms, even though Carl Jobs clearly lied and made it seem like the lawsuit that he was involved in with Billy Mitchell was about Billy Mitchell's cheating and not about the fact that he claimed that, Apollo Legend offed himself because of Billy Mitchell. It was completely dishonest. But since he's his friend, Nick's taking it light on him. This is what drives me crazy about these guys is that, if you are close enough to them, you get a bit of protection instead of like calling people out for what they, truly deserve to be called out for. And he was the same way with Muda until Muda kind of turned on Chud. Then all of a sudden Nick was like, okay, he turned on Chud. Okay, I can go after Muda now. It's ridiculous. It happens. You can watch it. Go watch a lot of the dramas that Nick Yoyer has been involved in, and you can almost guarantee it's going to start off friendly until there's a certain point where Nick's just like, all right, I'm going to flick the switch now, and I'm going to go all in on him. Same thing he did with Blow Blacks, right? Blows Black, sorry. When he was covering for him when Bo Blacks first came around, and then all of a sudden he was the leader of the attack on Bo Blacks because he realized that everybody hated him. E.g., this is why you will never make it. I know, because I can't shut my mouth, right? This is why you'll never make it. You're too goddamn honest. You need to start manipulating the truth and starting to fabricate some narratives. That's what you do to get big on YouTube.
Literally creating a video called "This Video Will Make You Hate Mama Max." It's not like he lied to my face saying he's going to keep everything between us and then
Oh, God. Yeah, that's not a first. Max, everything I say here will remain private because I'm not trying to make the situation any harder for you or inject myself into the actual content. But you need to get these girls help, and the internet can't provide. Find a journalist, get them a good lawyer, and set them up for success, please. I think you are widely in over your head, something you haven't experienced before, and I don't want to contribute further to it. I've been watching everything publicly for 10 hours across 2 streams, and my head is spinning trying to piece this together. I can't imagine how difficult this is behind the scenes. If I chose to continue believing you have everyone's best interest at heart, and this was a series of missteps. Yeah, you text with Nick, it's going to get out. It's like his favorite thing to do is share his DMs. So always assume. That was the one thing I liked President Sunday for, is that he recorded Nick while Nick was recording him, but everybody had a big problem that President Sunday recorded Nick without his, even though Nick already had a recording of President Sunday. Like, come on, dude. Like, Jesus Christ. There's no such thing as privacy when it comes to this guy. I'm sorry. There's just not.
Subsequently leaking our DMs and private conversations without our consent, by the way, to get a head start on the narrative, so that way I can't respond without everyone immediately think I'm lying about everything. Jim, I'm glad you got a platform to speak your truth that was worm-tongued into you by Ryan, who no longer wanted to be associated with his best friend that was getting canceled. Yet the survivors and I have yet to be platformed by any of these people, some of which outright denied us a platform, despite the fact that we are direct sources of information for our side of the story.
Look, I mean, I know that Max deserves a shit ton of criticism for a lot of the decisions he made, and especially the fiction and nonfiction stuff that was completely stupid. But he's not wrong at this point. Like, he's, I think he's in the grand scheme of things, there's a major narrative issue that circles around this commentary community that is a big, big problem. Phallic Weapon, you say nope. What's your opinion on it? I'd be curious to know why you're saying nope. Again, I'm learning it. This is my first time looking at this. I haven't seen Nick's rebuttal, which I'm sure he's got one. I haven't seen anybody else's rebuttals. But I mean, as somebody who's been in the space for like a year and a half now, I realize that this is how things work in this world. All right, but you are not owed a platform, to be fair. Yes, you are definitely not owed a platform. What he did to Moist Critical was completely stupid. He should have never done that. He should have never mixed the nonfiction with the fiction stuff. Like, those are huge things. Who else did that? There was another creator who did that. I can't remember what his name was, but he was like a nerdy looking guy, but he also tried doing this. If you don't cover my video, I'm going to expose you all. You don't deserve to have friends if that's how you're going to work.
It's almost like this was an orchestrated attempt to keep us silent and only
I don't believe they're trying to keep you
What?
silent, but
No, that's not an echo chamber.
definitely platform
That's
each other.
a beacon of truth. And then anyone that was asking critical questions of them or showing support to me or the survivors were getting doxxed and harassed for having a different opinion.
Well, you know, Xylee gonna Xylee.
Than what cancel culture would allow for. So yeah, that's really great, Jim.
I will say I tend to agree with Xylee a lot, but, you know, she's also friends with a lot of these guys, so I'm sure that in certain ways, you know, she has no problem speaking her mind, but she tends to, you know, agree with them guys a lot.
It to me pales in comparison to the damage he has caused to the women he allegedly abused and the victims of CSA that he's failed through his own narcissism and unchecked megalomania. I and my friends that you destroyed are moving on. The damage is done, but the healing has begun. Out of the darkness, we can all find light.
Oh, God.
Jim.
Oh, God, Jim.
So you all may be wondering, do I have any proof to my side of the story?
I'm sure you do.
I really wish that was something you guys would ask of them. They have failed to provide any evidence that I did all of this, and yet everyone believes them. And now the burden of proof is on me that I did not do these things, which is actually impossible. How do you prove you did not do something? But I will show you what I do have. So
Xylee's call with Max was amazing. I don't think I've ever heard it. I'll have to listen to it, but I'm sure Xylee lit into him.
This is my Discord correspondence with Ryan. He deleted all of his messages.
That's pretty fucking shady. I'm sorry, that's shady as shit. Deleting all your messages with someone so that they can't ever show them. Nexpo, that's fucking shady, dude.
I think because he knew I was going to expose him one day, there were many times he would talk shit about Jim. Even videos where he would make fun of Jim. He deleted all of them.
I know Mama Max is a weird guy, but I don't think he talked to himself for this long in his own Discord. I'm sorry.
But I mean, feel free to read through my own messages. I looked up to Ryan like he was my older brother and always came to him for advice. Yeah, I think he doesn't want y'all to know that, since it contradicts his disavowing of me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Ryan, you cannot delete messages from group chats that...
Phallic Weapon says, I was saying nope to trusting people in the drama space. I was working with a drama YouTuber. The whole scene is full of people who will throw you out with the bathwater the second you disagree. Absolutely. Well said, Phallic. I was just making sure we were on the same page there. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. What they like I said, what they did to Nerd City is fucking atrocious. Like, that guy did nothing wrong, and they were all on his ass like he had just committed, like, you know, murder or something. That's where my eyes really first opened to all this. Was watching what they did to him, and then I kind of was like, oh, okay, this is all bullshit. Like, you know, it doesn't matter as long as the narrative, you know, is pushed. It doesn't matter what the facts are or whatever the logical takes are. This is just kind of how they do things, right? You'll eventually be turned on by them if you fuck up. What's up, Mad Rambles?
Sorry, Nick, but you're gonna get caught in the crossfire. You can blame Muda and Ryan for making me do this.
I will say Nick Crowley is probably one of the only, from what I remember, like, glazing through this, Nick Crowley's one of the only innocent people in this. He kind of just got used by Nexpo, or like Nexpo liked him, and then he kind of got pushed into this whole situation by just being liked by Nexpo too much.
So I believe this was regarding Creator Clash. LOL. Do you not want to go? I thought that was for the call tomorrow. Is that what I said, idiot? You just fucking laughed, loser. I laugh at your lack of intelligence. You know who lacks intelligence? James, I'm gonna groom the shit out of you, Bagel, with Nightcox Media.
Oh! I'm sorry. That is an elbow drop off the top rope to you, Nexpo. I mean, that is you clearly bringing up Jim and shitting on him. Is it not? I mean, I don't know who in their right mind can look at this and not think that Nexpo was the person who was actually talking shit. I'm sorry. I can't see it.
Night Dogs banned a girl that we knew. He found out she was taken. So Ryan is implying that Jim only wanted single girls in his Discord server.
Well, he's technically not. He's only guilty by association, Ruggiero. I don't believe Nick Crowley actually did anything horrible. At least I don't think so anyway. I could be wrong.
Stop. Bro, what is the context behind this? No one knows. What the fuck, lol? The Jim lore is always expanding, I swear.
See, he's even not participating in, like, taking shit, like, talking shit on Jim. He's just saying, like, wow, this story always gets crazier. Okay, with the browser music, sure. What's up, Nintendo Man? How you doing? Time to learn who Mama Max is. Hey, yep, basically.
Can't wait for his redemption arc. Jim when Kitten logs into Discord. Is this Jim? Is this Jim?
Hi everyone, so I just wanted to hop on here real quick and tell you that I am actually breaking up with Jason.
No!
What do you mean no?
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Jason, get lost, bro. She's not into you anymore.
Would you guys still be down to do part of the iceberg? I'm gonna pick it up next month after I get a few more vids done. I heard Night Dix is down for the part with young girls. Go suck his cock.
Oh, see, oh my god, dude. Like, this is so... Yeah, Mr. Crowley. Bow, bow, bow. I'm sorry, Nexpo, but you kind of look like a complete idiot. I mean, there's no way that every single time you've brought up Jim, you could say all you want that Mama Max was the one who's doing it, but you'd have to be a complete moron to not believe that Nexpo was the one who actually talked shit on Jim.
Yes.
Either that or you just refuse to see it.
VidCon? Fell off? Huh? The fuck?
Yeah, Jason, get out of there. Do yourself a favor, bro.
With Jim. He made both of you, to be honest. Dude, you fell off. Damn it, is that a Jim moment? Bro, did you collab with him, Pagel of Night Doc? Famous Webby-nominated YouTuber? Yeah, it was a Night Doc's media production. He really went to bat for me this time. That's deep. Want to hear something even more deep and heartbreaking? When I'm with you guys, I feel like I'm the low man on the totem pole. Bro, are you serious, dude? Come on, man. Shit, I feel bad, dude. If it makes you feel better, man, your content's trash and you fell off. But dude, you shouldn't feel that way. Honestly, man, I do. I know my content is far superior, but it's just the algorithm, man. Dude, just keep trying, bro. Maybe you'll hit the algorithm in 2047. LOL. Pathetic. Yo, what the fuck? How the fuck are you two going to turn me into a gym like this? Yo, what the fuck?
Okay, that was kind of mean of Nick Crowley. He's making fun of yeah, look, there's Night Doc saying imagine seeing, it's like the same thing that happens with catty girls, right? They all become friends. You've seen it in a million different videos or a million different rom-coms or CW shows where, you know, the girls are all turn on their one friend and they take pictures and act like they're 10 times more happier without the one girlfriend. Mean Girls. Exactly what happened to Lindsay Lohan. That's exactly what these guys did. Nick kind of got pulled in. I don't know if Nick, you know, is the type of guy that would make fun of people like this, but I guess maybe in a way to fit in with his new friends who he probably felt, you know, kind of intimidated by because they were already successful. You know, maybe he joins in. Maybe I could see myself doing something like that because you're intimidated. But Nexpo's got no excuse because he basically orchestrated all this.
So just for context, this is a group chat. Glink invited Ryan and Jim too. And Ryan would often make fun of Jim for wanting to go to events that we were invited to. Let's play a game. Spot the Jim.
Dude, this is literally the 40-plus-year-old women I work with in account. Yes, dude, exactly. That's exactly what this is like. It's like a bunch of guys acting like catty bitches.
Lamau, you inconvenience me consistently. In other words, when we make a podcast, you tell me, slut. Whenever you're ready, we brainstorm names. We include Nick and Jim. Fuck no. Ha 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 ha. Can't have me without Jim. Podcast when? Finally got a name. The Night Docs Media Podcast, a subsidiary of Night Docs Media Incorporated.
Every single one of these motherfuckers is shitting on Jim. Imagine being Jim watching this, knowing that you just were like, finally, they like me again, just to find out they never liked you, and they're only yet again using you to push their narrative against Max. Dude, I swear, the YouTube landscape, like the people who run these this is why, I don't know why I'm in this niche, man. Why the fuck am I getting into commentary? Oh, God. It's like I'm just asking to be screwed over, dude. It's like I'm just asking to get canceled at some point. But now I understand why so many people are like, no, avoid that group, whatever you do, don't get mixed in with them, you know. And it makes sense because this will happen. You stay long enough to and you'll probably be one of the people helping take out other people and dogpile other people until all of a sudden it's your turn to get dogpiled. It'll happen to Nick eventually. Diorio will be the guy getting dogpiled on him, and then he's gonna have to deal with all the fallout of what he did to other people. I'm just telling you like it is.
LLC, 2022. Fuck both of you seeing Night Docs Media live. Got any friends that might want random shit from my place? I got the couches, 2 beds, a
poor
lazy
Jim.
chair, 2 desks, office chair, 2 dressers, shelves, etc.
He can't even win when he's winning. He was probably like, finally, everybody likes me again because everybody hates Mama Max. And then he finds out, no, they're just fucking using me again. God damn it. Is anybody ever going to respect Jim?
I believe this was right after Jim's house caught fire, by the way. Write that shit down, that's the funniest thing you've ever said. I hope you continue to use it for years to come. I'm sorry I let you down. Lamau. Bro, what is the context behind this? Random DM last night. He's with Oki right now. Oki was asking me about Jim when we met him in LA. WTF, wait, this is for real? I told him we parted ways but didn't delve into detail. 100%. It's real. So I'm assuming they talked about it. Did y'all get invited? I believe this was the invite for Lightwave. Yes, going. I think Jim might be there. LMFAO typical. I'll ask. Tell him the fucking deal straight. We don't mess.
I mean, Mama Max is like putting, like, he's exposing himself just as much as he's exposing Nexpo. So I guess he's like, you know, if my ship's going down, Nexpo, you're coming with me. Because this looks terrible for Nexpo. This looks absolutely friggin' terrible for him.
Anymore, my
yeah, this is a This is, I don't know what he was thinking with this damn music, dude.
I'll let them know. Boys, we merch trading at VidCon? What size shirt you wear, bitch, Muda?
This is like making me want to have a psychotic breakdown, Max. What are you? Why would you pick this song?
I'm no longer Nexpo. I'm officially Night Docs. I'm a walking advertisement. So is Max. Hey, do you feel like you're being used, man? Because you're walking here, walking at.
So I believe this was a text message from Nick.
This is bullying. This is all it is. It's just bullying. Every one of you motherfuckers bullying this poor guy Jim should be ashamed of yourselves. This is embarrassing. That y'all went this far out of your way to bully a guy who was nothing but nice to you, all because he was a simp, you know? And hitting on a waitress is not enough to deserve this type of attacks. I don't know Jim personally. He could be strange, but like you guys are acting like he just got outed as a PDF file.
Ryan, I was right, man. Jim's making a statement. Shut the fuck up. What we do? Trying to get a coffee or what? So you can see here, Ryan was always very concerned about Jim speaking up. Holy shit, boys. Anyone see Jim's story? Deleted Instagram off my phone.
Maybe I'm an idiot for like calling all these guys out because they could all squash me pretty easily if they wanted to. But I mean, how do you sit there and feel good about everybody dogpiling this guy like this? Like at some point, not one of you spoke up and said, yo, I get it, you guys don't like him, but why don't, you know, maybe let's, like, you know, the guy's been through enough. I mean, he's already almost like committed, you know, permanence ending. I'm trying to make it so I don't get demonetized, but they aren't grown-ups eternally in middle school. Exactly. This is the type of shit that guys in middle school would do to me. Or not me. They would do it to my cousin. My cousin was like a kind of a Forrest Gump type character. You know, he was very, I think he was a bit Asperger's, but they would torture him. And it got to the point like where I feel guilty about this, but I was so afraid they was going to turn on me because I was related to him that once in a while I would join in on it. And I regret it every day but I was in middle school, okay? So, you know, it's nothing I would ever do as a grown-up. But in middle, you know, every once in a while, I was so afraid that I was going to get targeted just because I was related that I would, you know, pick on my cousin too. And I felt and then as soon as I got to high school, I felt horrible about that. And I felt horrible about it ever since. And I can, you know, it's probably one of my biggest regrets in life that I didn't go to stick up for my cousin more, you know, in middle school when everybody was picking on him. It really bothers me. It still bothers me a lot to this day.
Showed this tweet with a sappy
message. It was Chick Nugs. Chick Nugs got
Love it when someone decides that not only are they not your friend anymore, but they poison the well for everyone else you were friends with. Sounds familiar.
Jim, he just needs thicker skin.
I'm telling you, dude, he thinks everything is 100% me. I know it. It is. So I'm half joking here. Clearly, we are all accountable for shit-talking Night Docs.
Yes,
but up until Mudahar was involved, Ryan was the most vocal about Jim. Fuck you. I need to talk to you, please. Bro, stop. Photoshopped. LMFAO. You gonna talk to him? No, I don't think I will. So I believe this was during Pick Aside YouTube. Jim was fighting off the commentary channels. You sure do know how to win a man's heart. Always with you, dude. He reached out to me so many fucking times and you said not to reply and that you had him blocked. So I don't remember ever saying this. So a few months before, I asked Ryan if we should block him, and he told me yes. So I actually didn't tell him to block Jim.
Are you serious? Should we full on block him then? Yes, LOL. I think he thinks I'm running this whole ostracism, which you are, Nexpo. Are you not the one that's constantly bringing up his name in the middle of conversations?
Just asking.
Now, granted, I don't get to read through others. I don't have access
Jim.
to like all these threads, but it definitely seems like Nexpo seems to bring up Jim more than anybody else. Yeah, I'm just waiting for this fucking music to be over, Max. Never put this song in another video again, Max. Please, for the love of God. I feel like I'm about to just start breaking my computers.
But whatever. Now he 100% thinks I'm the one talking shit about him pulling the strings here.
I can't even like Max for this music. I'm trying to defend the guy, and I can't even stand his music.
More, I don't know. Up to you. That put me in a shitty spot, and now I look like a fucking asshole. I'm sorry, man. I didn't even think about that. We should talk to him together then. Shut up.
It's like I think it's like Final Boss. It feels like a Final Boss type song, like, you know, that you would get in like a Nintendo game, but it's just like, it's just too much. It's like overly stimulating. How can I pay attention to what the fuck you're trying to say to me, Max, when I got and then I was like, Jim, he's Night Dogs, and that's why Nexpo's guilty. Like, come on, dude. What the fuck were you thinking?
Kill yourself. Why do everyone in Squid Game look the same?
Thank God. Yes. Yes, we get it. We got through. Thank God. Max, don't do that again.
Something to note about YouTubers. They spread a lot of rumors. They love to gossip.
Yes.
And they love to appear like they don't. But they most certainly do. Keep in mind, this is only what I have saved. There was a lot more in my DMs with Ryan, and it was much worse in person. It's also pretty interesting that Ryan has privated all of his Cringe Kitchen episodes with me and Jim. And if you go to the ones that are still public, you will notice his audience thinks it's because of my involvement. But all of his videos with me are still public. I think he might be trying to hide some things in those videos that could verify what I am saying.
So actually, I'm gonna be joined by Mama Max and Night Dogs. Let's get some music going.
I feel like Nexpo just strikes me as a guy who's like very, very insecure, like super fucking insecure, and he has to constantly. I know everybody's met a guy like this in their life, right? Super, super insecure, is so afraid of becoming the guy that everybody's picking on that he makes sure that he picks on someone else to make sure that he's not the guy getting picked on. So he rallies everybody to focus their attention and their negativity on someone else so that it's not focused on him. Everybody's met someone like this in their lifetime. And that just screams to the top of the mountains that you are insecure and not comfortable in your own skin.
I'm not the type to talk at like parties. I'm a pretty quiet guy.
Mama Max and Night Dogs.
It's giving insecure, you're right. It's definitely giving insecure.
Working on, I think he's working on his next video right now. You know, he'll be standing there, he might not be saying much, and then you hand him a camera, and things just start happening, and it's really cool.
But people who love to get drunk and run their mouths, that is Nexpo and Mutahar.
And you, Max, don't forget, and you got to take accountability. You can't just act like you didn't have any involvement. Like, you know, every time that you say that it's them, you also have to say that it was you too. You can't ignore yourself in this. You have to take accountability and say, listen, you know, yes, they talk shit. I talk shit too. Okay. I'm not, you know, I would just continue. Anytime you bring them up, remind everybody that you are guilty as well, because you are.
Luckily for Mutahar, I don't have any evidence of him calling Jim a predator. He mostly did that in person when he was drunk, but from my memory, he was very vocal about gossiping, not just about Jim, but pretty much every other creator that thought they were his friend.
Muta is a wonderful, wonderful human being. You guys have, like, he's exactly like you see on his videos. Like, he's just...
poor Jim. Poor sweet, sweet Jim. Muta's so great. Muta's like just, oh my God, when you guys meet Muta, like, he just shines. He radiates. And then Muta's like, fuck Jim. Jim's a fucking loser, dude. Yeah, Muta's a great guy. Muta's awesome, dude.
So
seems
full
it.
of
Seems
energy.
he's awesome.
He's got like the quickest wit I've ever seen. It's so hard to keep up. Like,
yeah, when he's making fun of you.
I generally have a lot to say about everything in general, but I got nothing on Muta. Muta's got a really hot take on just about everything.
I don't hate Muta, but this definitely makes Muta look like a Weasley little shit, doesn't it? doesn't it? Which is why Muda got out of drama. He probably knew this was coming at some point, and now he's running for the hills.
So many YouTubers that can substantiate this, like Nick Crowley.
Nick, what the fuck are we watching? Bro, I need you to tell me, man. Max, what are we watching, dude?
Trust me, just watch. Shut up, Nexpo.
I don't even know what I'm doing here. Get me out of here.
I think the over positivity is problematic as little as well. Feels like just cope to make friends. Yeah, well, I mean, you can honestly tell that Jim feels like he's completely, like he doesn't fit in with this group. And so he's doing it by overly being nice. But I also think that he genuinely is like, tends to try to be a nice guy. But you're right. Being too overly positive can turn people off just as much as being like a bit of a dick.
But he's probably going to defend himself and his friends. But that's okay, because there's one witness who is brave enough to speak up today.
Hi, I go by Prox. I'm here to provide a new perspective on the relationship between Max, Ryan, Muda, Nick Crowley, myself, and Jim. Specifically as a witness as it pertains to the allegations from Ryan and Mudahar that Max destroyed Jim's character.
Yeah, oh my god, he's way too nice. Fuck that guy. Why are we even hanging out with this guy? This guy's saying we're awesome. Fuck him, dude. We ain't got time for him.
Before I get into the main topic, I want to give context on who I am and why my perspective is important. I've been involved with these guys for over 5 years, and I have first-hand experience with many of the people and events I'm going to talk about. Here's a brief rundown of the projects I've been a part of. On April 27th, 2020, I was a part of Ryan's project called Ben Drowns Again. On July 15th, 2021, I was part of Ryan's Walton Files analysis.
But the person filming this can be heard in the background saying the following.
So, on June 24th, 2022, I was a part of Ryan's project, The Darkest Half-Life mod, which you won't find without the Wayback Machine.
A strange temptation awaits him.
I really need to take these pills. This channel used to be called Nexpo After Hours and was publicly available. Uploaded on May 1st, 2022, I was a part of a video with Ryan and Nick called Meeting Dream at 3 a.m.
Can I stick your hand on me? Can I fuck you on me? It's your dream. Oh, it's dream. Oh my god. True.
This was only a tiny fraction of the stupid shit we'd do at Max's place at the time.
I agree. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him being a nice guy. I just think that he's a nice guy surrounded by a bunch of petty little women. You know, no offense to women, but you know what I mean. Like he's a guy who was nice in a world full of guys that were just trying to stay afloat so that they weren't the next target.
January 18th, 2022, I was in Muda's video titled A Lot Happened This Weekend.
Like Friday night, you know, Ryan came over, Prox, and Max came over, and we just kind of like had a good time.
Spicy language.
On July 29th, 2022, I was a part of Muda's video titled The YouTube Disaster You've Never Heard Of. I wish I was never part of this mostly negative video at all.
And shout out to Prox, by the way.
On April 7th, 2021, I was part of Jim's video titled This Video Can Physically Attack You. I've never been a part of any project that was specifically for Nick Crowley, though we did hang out a lot behind the scenes for various other projects like for Max, Ryan, and etc. And I've helped Max with almost all of his post-2020 content. On July 13th, 2021, I uploaded the video titled Raising Cane's Chicken Is Not What It Seems, documentary, featuring Nexpo, Mama Max, Some Ordinary Gamers, Nick Crowley, Night Docs, and so on. Now that I've established my history with these guys, let me start from the beginning. The story begins for me around August of 2019 when I first met Max. This was shortly after he released his video covering Kanye Quest. Ryan would notice the video and collaborate with Max on the same topic a couple months later. It was around this time in early 2020
I always
that
read
Max
in the
and Ryan would
comments.
become
It's
good
my
friends.
secret.
Max messaged me about a new collaborative project he was going to be a part of that Nexpo was filming, which wasn't too far from me. I believe it was the night of April 25th that I drove over to Jim's house and met Ryan and Jim for the first time, where we also pranked Max before he showed up.
Which question?
How do you feel about the current health crisis in the world?
Yeah.
Filming for this project, which ended up being Ben Drowns Again,
Look it's Nexpo. It's Nexpo from YouTube.
was fun and went smoothly. Most of the time. Ryan was arguably taking this project more seriously than anything he's done before. He gathered several creators together to film a real-life storyline of sorts. Therefore, when Jim tried to share ideas with Ryan, on and off set, whether it's an extra scene there, a drone shot there, etc., the response from Ryan ranged from warm reception to downright frustration. Not too long after the project started, Ryan would voice his frustrations to the rest of us without Jim being...
God God damn it, Jim. I didn't ask for your damn opinion. This is my video. And I swear to God, if you give me another tip, I am kicking you off set. That's it. Because this is Nexpo's baby. He don't want no feedback from Jim. He's got it all figured out. That's exactly how I imagine Nexpo thinks. What is Jim not think I know what I'm doing? Does Jim not think that I know how to shoot a video? God, what does he think? He's my friend helping me out? Trying to help make my video better?
Present. A good example would be when Jim would fly his drone over the woods decently far away to get some B-roll before almost entirely losing his drone and panicking about it for the next hour. This was a detour that caused another delay. In retrospect though, most of what Jim did wasn't like this at all. Jim's a bit of a clumsy guy who makes mistakes. I mean, who doesn't? But overall, I argue that most of what Ryan was complaining about boiled down to Jim's mostly harmless suggestions and criticisms to him, which Ryan just couldn't bother to be more patient about. Regardless of, again,
I mean, you take one look at this guy, right? You got Nexpo, who kind of looks like a Chad, and then you got Jim, who kind of looks like a dad. You can see why Nexpo looked down on him. But that's that YouTuber supremacy ego, where oh, I'm better than you, therefore you're not as good as me because I look better, my videos are better, I have a higher sub count, you're nothing to me, even if you give me a place to live so that I can fulfill my dreams. What's up, KDA?
How much of an asset Jim was to the project. Behind the scenes on this project was the beginning of a long era for Ryan as we knew him personally, one that was fueled by contempt for Jim. You can absolutely bet that Ryan had a list of complaints after every one of these videos, which he of course started to only share with Max and I, since this was a continued outlet for venting his frustrations about...
I can already see it. Ready? Jim goes, I'm going to go into the bathroom, and then Nexpo turns around and is just like, can you believe that fucking guy? Can you believe him? Giving me tips on how I should shoot something? Like, I don't know how to frame my own video, Jim. God, who does this guy think he is? Does he think I don't know what I'm doing? Of course I know what I'm doing. I'm fucking Nexpo. You're Night Docs. Shut your mouth and stay in your place. It's exactly how he thought.
With Jim. You know, forget the fact that Ryan and Jim have a longer history together than any of us. Forget the fact that Jim sourced an important location and actor for the film, along with being one himself. Also, forget the fact that Jim made an entire score just for this video. Despite how useful Jim was to this project, Ryan just wasn't having it. Ryan's lack of consideration for Jim would only get worse from here. After filming for Ben Drowns Again concluded, Neff and his partner went home and it was down to the four of us for the rest of 2020. Max started living with Jim for a few months and we would all continue to regularly collaborate, with videos like Strange Flyers around Portland, Oregon, the Randonautica video, the Rabbit Hole video, the Cringe Kitchen episodes, which all featured Night Docs at this point. I mean, they were literally filmed at his house. And oh yeah, the Kids Chat video, where all of them, including Muda, collaborate.
It's a shame that the world is full of dickheads that make good content. Yep, Nomad. I mean, you know, Nexpo's obviously an insecure guy, an insecure, like, child, but he makes good vids. I'll give him that.
And made their own video. Very interesting. What I was mainly up to around this time was just hanging out with everyone off set. We'd go to restaurants, bars, stuff like that.
Are you enjoying your Coke?
It's a Pepsi. Except for one time at the bar we frequented, Jim made a surprise inappropriate comment to me involving our waitress at the time, as he's done on multiple occasions. Though this moment was ultimately harmless, it did bring up a discussion among the rest of us about this behavior. Max has stories of Jim flirting with waitresses. So does Ryan. So much
like every other fucking guy out there. If the waitress is cute, I might, you know, have a cheesy line for her. Everybody does it. But it's only weird because Jim's old and doesn't look like you guys. Let's be realistic.
This.
Another story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep, and it involved one trip
God,
to
you
a
were such a
restaurant
sleazy little... Oh my God, Nexpo. You were so fucking sleazy.
Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, you know, making moves on the waitress and, you know, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop.
He is insinuating that Max is the only one with stories like this, and that Max was the only one who thought that Jim was acting inappropriate toward waitresses. Already in just this instance of this video, Ryan is either intentionally deceiving everyone by staying vague and manipulating facts, or after all these years, he's just turned into an idiot baby.
I told you, pro-gooning channel.
However, when 2020 was starting to end and Max moved out of Jim's place, an evolution happened. Instead of complaining about Jim's behavior, why don't we just make fun of him? All the time. A group gossip tradition of sorts, spearheaded by Ryan, since, from what I remember, making fun of Jim would be more than half of the things he's ever said around me.
I'll do another one. I don't mean to be a Jim, but...
No, dude, go ahead. Ryan would...
I don't mean to be a Jim. Oh my God, dude. This is why you can't be a nice person on YouTube. Everybody becomes a dick at some point.
Come over when Max and I were hanging out at his new apartment, busting in and saying shit like, "Yo, is this Nightcock's media production by Jim fucking Pagel? I'm gonna groom the shit out of you. Out of the darkness, we can all find light." Ryan would also make fun of his videos.
I will admit, like, some of those lines are a little cringy, but, you know, he's just trying to be theatrical and artistic.
Example that I remember Ryan religiously making fun of was Jim's new character at the time, Noctis. He made this character because in the rabbit hole video prior, Ryan donned his rabbit persona, and it was clear that this character was in a group with Max and Jim. So Jim probably thought, hey, I should make a cool character of my own. However, he was already fighting a losing battle, because the whole character thing was only cool when Ryan and Max did it. He also made fun of this. He also made fun of this.
I don't play by the rules.
Damn it! He also made fun of this.
Yeah, nothing. This guy probably could have came out with the greatest idea ever, and Nexpo would be like, that sucks. That sucks. E.g. Dick Arc incoming. It's already here, baby. It's already here. Obviously, we're in the spooky level of this video game now. Yeah. By the way, I want to say Jim's character he created was pretty cool. A lot cooler than the rabbit guy that Nexpo came up with.
It's Nexpo. I hope you're doing all right, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm more worried about you.
And so many more.
What am I doing? I agree, brother. What are we doing?
You see, Ryan may look like a calm, calculated, and almost mysterious individual on camera. Off camera, however, he's a huge shit talker. He's also very
That's by
impatient
design,
and
Daniel's
quite
crew.
condescending.
I want you to
in
keep
fact,
going
just
around.
about every conversation I've seen Ryan in, he's always in the center of it with the loudest voice and the funniest jokes. A big ego, only trumped by one other guy I know. Ryan.
Yeah, the insecure. That is there again, I've said this a bunch of times. A lot of you guys know that I work with someone who's exactly like this. He has to be the loudest, he has to be the center of attention. He will shout over everybody because he wants to make sure that his joke gets heard because he thinks it's funny. Also, by the way, he's been trying to turn the entire group of people I work with against me. Why? Because I guess I'm funnier and I don't have to try as hard. Nomad, except Nexpo didn't create that character. They just took a huge bite out of a video game called Hotline Miami. And by bite, I mean directly copied. Yeah, because... And I'm sure that Nick Crowley does videos better than Nexpo. You know, again, both these guys make great content. And I'm sure they're all friends. And I'm sure that nobody's going to give a shit what old EG has to say because I'm a shitter channel who nobody knows. But I feel 100% confident in everything I'm saying right now. There is no way that I could possibly be wrong about this because all the evidence is there. Everybody was talking shit on everybody except for Jim, who wasn't talking shit on anybody, so therefore he was the easiest target to talk shit on. Nexpo might not have been the very first to originate it, but he loved the idea of making sure he wasn't the low man on the totem pole. So he made sure that everybody knew that Jim was the low man on the totem pole, even though Jim provided more for them than anybody else. They were happy to use his house whenever it was convenient for them. But no, Jim sucks. Anytime Jim does something, it sucks. All because he gave me advice on a video I was shooting one time, man. Can't believe him. I remember my first thought when I heard the name Mama Max and seeing a thumbnail of him in the name, I thought, why are you using Mama with Mama Mac's name? Don't see at all why he chose that. Yeah, I don't know. But you're a shit. Yeah, that's right. I could talk shit on everybody. Nobody cares because I'm a shitter channel. I talk shit. EG calls it like he sees it. I do. And I know that this is going to give me a ton of shit, man. Like, I know, like, if anybody comes around and sees me, like, basically calling out, like, the entire big heavy hitters of the commentary community, they're all going to hate me. But there's no way that y'all could sit there and feel comfortable with what you did. Like, you know what you did. You know that what you were doing was wrong. You know that you were picking on the guy because he was the most helpless of you all. It's like the same way a wolf pack works, right? The beta or the small, yeah, I guess the beta pup is the one that eats last, gets, you know, pushed away at dinner because he's the most helpless. He's the run of the litter. My mother-in-law is just like this. She needs attention nonstop. She even invited us to watch some play she was in where she was the only person who got naked. Oh my God, she made you come see a play where she got naked? Your mother-in-law? That's wild, dude. It's fucking wild. Soul is, yeah, you get prepared because they're not going to like my, a lot of people who hate Max are going to hate what I have to say in this. I'm gonna be getting torn apart in the comments for this. Oh, look at this! We got a Max Glazer, guys. Watch out, a Mama Max Glazer. Here he comes. No, I just call it like I say it. And if you don't see how this is not the truth of the matter, then you're probably one of the people who like to join in and make sure that you're not one of the people getting attacked. And I'm not even excusing what Mama Max did. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm not excusing anything that Mama Max did. But what I'm saying is that he's right about what all you guys did. You guys all participated in bullying Jim. And you're acting like it was all Mama Max, when clearly it wasn't. You all were doing it.
College jock bro behavior would only be compounded with the introduction of Nick Crowley to the group in March of 2021. Not because Nick was particularly brutal to Jim or anything. He was always
Nomad wants to go see the play where Daniel's Cruz
daily. And he was a bit late to the Jim lore. But because Nick was involved with the boys now, and there's another cool bro in the group, meaning Ryan has another cool bro friend to boast to. Wait, what if we replaced Jim?
I'm not afraid to, because I can sleep well at night knowing I called it like I see it. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm right all the time, but I feel like if you were watching this in a movie and you got to see all of the different characters like you would in a movie, everybody would look at this group as the shitheads. They would all look at Jim as the sympathetic victim, and Mama Max would be like Lindsay Lohan. I mean, this has played out, right? This has been Mean Girls. This is exactly what the storyline is to Mean Girls. Everybody picks on someone else just so they feel better about themselves.
Jim. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Ryan's been wanting to cut Jim out for a long time, and he took this as
Mama Max is definitely a dude.
As of March 2021, this is the last month I can find collaborations.
That's why. That's probably why Mama Max made the video. He knew his reputation was already done, but it bugged him that these guys still get to go on. Yeah, Phallic, I don't blame Mama Max for making this video. He's like, okay, all right, y'all want to turn your backs on me? That's fine, but, you know, just so you know, I'm going to make sure everybody knows who you guys are, too. I would have done the same. If I had a group of friends who we all came up together and they all turned on their backs on me and all attacked me and then started blaming everything on me, I would 100% be like, oh, okay, that's fine, guys, but, you know, let's just put it out there so that everybody knows it wasn't just me the whole time.
Jim and the rest of the group. And then there's my video, which appears to be the actual last one. However, it was also filmed in March. It wasn't just some big coincidence that Jim didn't appear in our videos anymore. It was indicative of what was happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the rest of us continued with collaborations, hangouts, and all the usual stuff with nothing notable until January of 2022 when we met up with Muda in Houston. This is where
This had to kill Jim, dude. This had to absolutely kill him to watch all his friends doing all this stuff without him not knowing what he did wrong because he was nice to everybody. What a mindfuck to be in. The one guy who did the right thing, minus maybe being a little too simpy towards women, but, you know, it happens, is like watching all these guys who talk shit on each other constantly all celebrate each other while he has to sit home and wonder, where did I go wrong? Was I not nice enough? No, Jim, you were nice enough. You were just too good for them, I guess.
Him and Jen for the first time in person. At this point, Muda was becoming much more involved with the group, or more specifically, Ryan. Nothing too notable, except for Ryan, who wanted me to tell my gym waitress story to Muda and Jen personally. And by this point, it wasn't uncommon for him to encourage others into talking about their own experiences with Jim. Why? You should ask Ryan. At this point, though, Jim wasn't just gone, he was still trying to keep touch, which we didn't, and he was rightfully upset about this.
Love it when someone decides that not only are they not your friend anymore, but they poison the well for everyone else you were friends with. Yep, Jim. Life sucks like that because people suck. People suck. Big dick sometimes. Let's just be realistic about that.
We took his kindness for granted, we slowly phased him out, and then we dumped him. And the fearless leader of the boys, the ultimate gym aficionado himself, was happier about this than anyone. If the other guys in the group were forced to tell you the truth, they would tell you something similar. So, that's what happened to Jim. In conclusion, there's a lot more I want to say, but I also wanted to keep this testimony brief. I don't know who exactly spread rumors that Jim is a predator that abuses his kids, because I wasn't at VidCon 2022 where these rumors started. I can only tell you what I've personally witnessed, which
Hey man, we can't hang around Jim. Jim makes us look uncool. Jim makes us look uncool.
Seems to be the opposite of the picture Ryan and Muda want to paint. They pinned this on the one guy who still wanted to maintain contact with Jim at this point. There's something clearly wrong with the mainstream narrative. Based on everything we've just covered, I'll let you be the judge. Jim deserves to know the truth, and he's long overdue for an apology. Jim, I'm deeply sorry for the way I treated you, and how we all treated you. You deserve better friends.
You know what? Props to that guy for... First off, just the fact that he's associated with this video is going to get him a lot of shit, but props to that guy for doing the right thing at the end of the day and speaking up. Because it ain't easy to do, man. And I'm sure that guy realized that he was about to catch a wave of shit, but it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Okay. So
especially apologizing like that.
Like past the cars barely, and I'm gonna run slower, so it'll be easier to catch up and all that. So, all right, I'm gonna go now. All right, go.
Damn it, Jim, you missed the shot.
Jim, I am so sorry all of this happened to you. There's so much more I need to say. I'm down to talk if you're up for it. I miss you, man, and I hope you can walk away from all of this stronger than ever. And
yeah, Mama, Max, it's a little late for that, ain't it, buddy? Like, the only reason you're being nice to him now is because you got canceled. Like, if I'm gonna like shit on them for what they've done, I gotta shit on you for what you've done too, huh? You can play it off like you're some sympathetic guy who is very understanding of what Jim's going through now because you went through it. But, I mean, this probably would have meant a lot more if you did this before. You didn't have to make a big public spectacle of it. You should have just messaged them, you know?
no matter how much fire you come under, remember that you're Jim fucking Pagel. Bulletproof.
Apparently not. See, it's shit like that though that kind of kills the whole thing, right? Where he's just like, no, but I really am so sorry, Jim. I'm so incredibly sorry of how I treated you. Like, just be like, yeah, dude, I fucked up big time. I was a dick. Like, that's what he should have just said. He came out and be like, dude, I was a fucking dick, man. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry I was such a dick to you. You didn't deserve it.
So Max, how does it feel to have Leviathans come for you? Not good, I assume. I mean, you did end up being revealed to be a backstabbing manipulator who betrayed his friends and fans. We all know what you did to Night Dogs, Maxie boy, and we do not forget. I understand why you feel this way, given all the videos you must have watched about.
Yeah, it's just you get that's how they do it, right? Is they just mass everybody's, oh, what's the narrative? Okay, this is what these guys are all in group chats with each other. So they can organize their stories and be like, okay, what are we telling the public this week? Okay, everybody, we're gonna go out, okay, it was all Mama Max's idea, right? Who's gonna believe them? Who's gonna believe us? You know, who's gonna doubt us, right? It's like 6 against 1. Obviously, we're the truth tellers, when in reality, they're all guilty, every single one of them.
Oh, man. But I hope hearing my side can show you that the truth is a little more complicated than what YouTubers might make it seem.
Ryan?
Always is. It always is.
What want to say, man? Fucking love you, dude.
I know. Bye.
Bye.
Hey Max, longtime fan here. I was wondering quite a few things, actually. Firstly, what is this story I keep hearing about Night Dogs and your allegations against him? If you did tell people he was a predator, then Nicholas Diorio is correct in that this situation means two things. You either protected a predator through years of silence, or you lied, attempting to destroy a YouTuber's career. What actually happened there? I don't think Night Dogs is a predator. We've made jokes in our friend group. I wouldn't call it predatory, but I would not call it... I would rather respect his privacy. Secondly,
basically Jim has a hard time not simping really hard for the ladies. That's what he wants to say is like Jim's a gooner. At the end of the day, Jim, old Night Dogs, he's got a goon side.
supposed friend Mudahar for $1 million, telling the victim that he's rich and so seeking $1 million would help with the case.
I basically realized that this person wants to effectively sue me for a large chunk of money, okay? An obscene amount of money. Why? Because to me, all this appears is all I ever was to this man was an extremely rich friend who had enough social media clout for him to piggyback his stupid case off of.
My stupid case. So yeah, I thought he was my friend too. Until I saw the things he was doing.
And immediately he initiated sex.
Okay. At the time,
Look, it's all the okay. I mean, I hate to do this, but yeah, it's all the usual suspects.
Nick? What?
I don't do the grape review. I don't do that on my channel. I know that's an edgy joke for them. Don't bother me. I realize that they're edgy guys, but I don't know. I would just have a hard time making fun of someone for this. Why is Bo Black's in this damn?
Clear on this, Mudahar digitally signed a
it's all the main boys
agreement to protect the identities, testimonies, and evidence of the survivors.
The usual suspects.
Only allowed to release it with their consent, and then he breached that agreement multiple times.
Okay, I just got confirmation. Mudahar just fucking DM'd me.
Especially when there's
Mudahar just fucking DM'd me, saying that there's not even proof confirming that there's even evidence. I thought he was bullshitting about the NDA. If Mudahar actually did have to sign an NDA to see the information, he broke that NDA with me because he told me in my DMs that it's what the evidence is.
Keep in mind, Mudahar did not talk to any of the survivors when he was leaking this information, and he is the very reason why people were not taking the evidence.
Yeah, the fact that they have Bo Blacks in that call just takes away all the credibility of that call.
Seriously.
Exactly what is the supernatural here? Like, let's just try to understand that.
Did you hear any of the lore?
I can't say anything about Lyrics because, I mean, it seems like Lyrics was just kind of getting information and kind of reacting to it in real time.
Sorry.
It's the boys club. It's the boys club. There they are. Whoa, she got graped. I've never been graped. It must suck. But let's laugh, because Nick's laughing.
But then, after he talks to the survivors...
Bunch of immature boys, that's all they are. Locker room boys, that's them.
Now it is all of a sudden one of the most serious of cases.
I'll say with the evidence, like, appears at least, it feels like there's definitely, like, a bad...
I will say, I watched Chud's coverage of this, though, and Chud did seem to side with Max on a couple of things, so at least he's being fair.
It's like...
Chud is fair, though, from what I've heard.
The worst I can see is somebody taking advantage of people, like, emotionally, sexually, physically. Looking at this whole story and talking to people that were actually affected by it, I think that there was, like, really...
I saw him, Rajira. I see him in there, right? And he talked about it. I was watching one of his streams he covered, and he says that, yeah, if a friend of his came up to him and said she was raped, but he's not, like, very emotionally invested in it if a stranger comes up and tells him. So I don't know. I mean, it's not Chud's best moment. I don't like that he was part of this, to be honest, but, you know, I still think on the whole, Chud, you know, I don't think that he's a lot like the other guys that are in this chat here, but yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know how I'd behave if I was in this situation either. If I was in there with a group of guys and everybody started laughing and it seemed funny to me, I might laugh too. So I don't want to sit here and act like I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't have laughed too had I been in that moment with these guys. You know, I'm just being honest, because if somebody else, it takes is for one person to laugh and then, you know, everybody else starts laughing, then you start laughing, you know, does it make it right? Probably not. But, you know, I could honestly see myself laughing in the situation as well.
There was illegal shit that happened, right? Look, there are real people that I believe have been hurt by this. And for that considering, I am giving my full...
But I will say that I would not do what Mudahar's doing right now, where I would laugh in the chat and then turn around and take it very seriously when I'm putting out the video to public, right? That's very hypocritical. I'd either laugh both times or I wouldn't, or I'd take it serious both times. I can't imagine that I would change up like that. It's group peer pressure. That's what it is. So I'm not, you know, and I'm not giving Chud an out, right? He laughed just as much as everybody else did. But again, if I was in that situation, I'd probably laugh too, right? But I wouldn't turn around and treat it as though it's like some very serious thing in my video to try to sell it like I cared, like Muda's doing.
Support as much as I can. Speaking with more of the victims after this call myself, I feel very disgusted hearing any more about the situation and the things that have been alleged to go behind it, which is why I'm doing my due diligence to at least try and help these victims out, but privately, not a public spectacle like Max is doing.
I think I'm just going to take the day off today and get on the stream with you boys.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to burn you because
I heard EG wants Mudahar to be his co-host on stream. Yeah, Mudahar would give two shits about what I'm doing over here.
much already, but
no, man.
Have you.
It's great to work with you.
Oh man,
this whole thing has been so fucking insane, bro. I'm so glad that call came out. Ever since she made that like post on her Discord, it's like this call will make him look bad. I'm like,
that's why I made it the thumbnail, dude. I just wanted that to be the first thing people see.
I literally like the moment I saw that, I was like, dude, I'll just fast track her up and just release this fucking thing myself.
So just to make sure we're all on the same page, Mudahar was verifiably defaming me, the survivors, and this case with these public statements he made.
Which is funny too, because he turned like just before this, right? How serious was he in that video where he's like, yeah, I care a lot about what's happening with these girls. I really, really care. And in a minute he's like, oh, I got an even better story. Max lied. What? Fuck those girls, dude. Not literally, but now I'm going to go after Max. This whole thing is just about to get better. Juicier views, baby.
Before and after signing a non-disclosure agreement.
And I think the NDA stuff is really wild too. It's like, obviously, I think NDAs are like designed to, I feel like it's almost like a way to add some level of credence to this. Like there's some crazy case, like NDAs aren't enforceable in this situation. Like, I mean, I could leak out everything. What's going to happen? Are you going to sue me or something?
So what this means is that Mudahar Anas signed an NDA under false pretenses with the intention to release information without the consent of the survivors.
But you're going publicly and saying that to everybody else when you haven't spoken to the others. I'm just trying to understand, why would you do that without talking to us?
Which can fall under breach of contract.
I mean, that's a dick move, right? If you're out there pushing a girl's story that's not your story to tell, right? Isn't this how Beckett got jammed up and President Sunday got jammed up, right? By telling Pixie's story without talking with Pixie at all? Right, it's the same fucking thing. Like Mudahar went forward and started telling these girls' story without like them fully giving them the full context of it.
Defamation,
because he was so eager to get that story on Max out.
To a criminal investigation, it could also fall under tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice.
This is a little try-hardy though.
I've actually been speaking with multiple legal professionals who all seem to think we have a very solid case. And given what's happened with Karl Jobst recently, I'm pretty confident that we could sue Mudahar for a lot more than $1 million.
I'd be interested to see if that court case played out. I don't know if he'd win, but because of just how fucking crazy it all got with Spencer and shit. Like it would definitely be interesting though if this went to court and a judge looked at it, because you know it's not like Max has zero case, you know. So I think it would be interesting. I think it's a tank top. So it is a tank top. You keep calling it a halter top. I wear a tank top sometimes on stream, Soul.
Given the amount of damage he has caused,
especially in the summer when it starts getting 100 degrees out,
not only is removing the video a big problem,
I'll pull the guns out.
Go onto your main channel and address these situations. If you make a fuck up, especially one where you inadvertently end up slandering somebody.
Yeah, look, right? So look at all the views. He's getting millions of views on talking about Mama Max. Every time he talks about Mama Max, 2 million, almost 1 million. The one above that was 1 million. So of course Mudahar is going to milk that. He's getting paid. He's getting huge paydays for it.
For that.
And that money could absolutely help the survivors and this case. He has repeatedly claimed that
suing is gay. Shut the fuck up. You're right. Suing is super gay. As long as I'm not the one being sued, you know. If I get to watch someone else be sued, no man, I don't know. I'd be interested. Like you gotta admit the Karl Jobst, Billy Mitchell thing was very interesting. That was an interesting story. I would never personally sue somebody unless they were just blatantly just straight fucking lying out their ass about me, like saying I did the, like, you know, something that could be unrepairable, like saying I was a pedo or something with obviously no evidence of that. I could maybe consider like a cease and desist at least. But if someone's just ruining your career without any proof, maybe there's a reason there. But yeah, as long as I'm not the one being sued, I'd watch it. You know, fuck. Who am I to judge? I mean, the Karl Jobst thing, like I said, Billy Mitchell, Karl Jobst, that was compelling television.
would provide financial and legal support for the survivors.
Suing is gay as fuck.
My full support as much as I can, whether that be emotionally, whether that be helping them liaison
suing
with
EG is
actual law
gay.
enforcement agents or lawyers, and
Nothing wrong with gay
whatever
people.
form of financial, benefit that I can, reasonably provide.
If you sue me, you gay though.
Come to fruition.
Just saying.
Because from what the survivors have told me, Mudahar has not actually provided any financial, legal, or emotional support like he's been publicly claiming. At least in the case of Camden Gerard Davis, there is proof. There is evidence of malfeasance.
This guy.
Just because Mudahar said it's nothing substantial doesn't mean it's nothing.
Not eat up a good court drama, don't get me. Okay, that's all I'm saying, Nomad, right? Right? That's all I'm saying. Look at the P. Diddy shit going on right now. Everybody's on the edge of their seat. That's real drama right there. Us talking shit online, that's not it's whatever. But people in court, like with their lives on the line, now that's some good drama right there.
Substantial. He didn't even know what he was looking at. He didn't talk to any of the survivors when he made that comment.
Dude, that made
proximity to it, but I'm like, it looks more
the
like
Depp
an
versus
erotic
her
roleplay
thing
server where,
made
boundaries were really
Asmongold a
crossed.
fortune.
An erotic roleplay server where boundaries were really crossed. What does that even mean?
Like, that's what I'm still putting it out as. Max is not like an idiot. Like, I think he's smart enough to know it, but he's like, fuck it, I'll just frame it as a cult.
Just so we're clear, the survivors came to me claiming it was a cult. And after my conversations with actual experts, I do think it is a cult.
I'll make it look more spookier than I can, because his audience is like that true crime audience. And I'm going to say it, like, the true crime audience is like the most retarded audience on YouTube. You could fucking feed them the biggest load of bullshit, and 9 times out of 10, they'll believe it.
He was actively undermining.
I mean, that is Mudahar's probably his his quote right there. Oh yeah, you can feed, as long as you sell it well enough, anybody will believe anything you say. I truly believe he feels that way.
Awareness campaign. He was reaching out to
somewhat tries to
historical
be
detractors of
honest,
the channel
but
and going on live streams with them before talking to me or any of the survivors and talking shit about the case. Here's just one example out of many.
Oh, fucking Tommy
Mudahar
C.
repeatedly attacked us on the live streams of people who hate me. Perhaps the most vocal among them is Tommy C.
I'm going to be just straight up honest with you. I want this child exploiter pinned to a cross. And
shut the fuck up, Tommy C. Oh my, Tommy C. At one point I thought he was all right, but I don't know. The more I listen to him, the more I just feel like he's he's just, I don't know, man. It's just something about him. It just seems like he's like a little snitch. Like, I feel like when he was in the military, he was the guy snitching on everybody. He was an MP.
I think that you're going to see a lot more Mama Max content from
And I feel like he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
This is the first person Mudahar
Sorry, I know
chooses to
Xylee
speak
loves
with
him,
about
but
this case should speak volumes about Mudahar's true intentions.
Go look into this guy Mama Max's bullshit story, Mudahar. I'm angry. I know I'm legitimately angry. And
well, I mean, I'm like I want you to tell me more. I like it's like the anger is good. It's just like fucking you gotta.
I can't think straight.
I am learning.
I am learning from the angry man who just said he can't think straight. No, yeah, the anger.
I mean,
is
that's a good point.
It's not like it clouds your judgment and obstructs critical thinking. The anger is good.
I don't know how much of that 4-hour interview you've seen.
Nothing.
A podcast.
He just said he has seen nothing. So Mudahar was learning from an angry man who can't think straight,
Tommy
who constantly spreads disinformation on his target.
Listen, I know a lot of people are like, some people I'm friends with are friends with all these people. All right, I'm not trying to jam y'all up or anything like that, but I there's got to be a reason why Tommy hasn't gotten past where he's at on his YouTube career. That's all I'm gonna say. He's been shacked up with some of the biggest names on YouTube, and he's still like where Kristen Art gets more views, and Chris hasn't had nearly the kind of networking that Tommy has. Even though I know that Chris worked with Keemstar, but it's a little strange to me.
Who made multiple streams about how I am a scammer, has seen nothing. What?
It's this whole situation.
Can you send in the video he made on me? Can you send Muda the video he made on me that one summer?
Please teach me your ways. Washed Up Commentary channel number 46,000.
He's not wrong,
Tommy, that video was not about you. I gave you a 3-minute segment, and rest assured, Mudahar already watched it. This is the text.
Dude, I'm telling you though, right? Okay, here's a great example. Or just lie about it. Just fucking, man, does Jen know? Yeah, we try not to talk about it. No need to bring up ex-girlfriends. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it sucks. And then the next text is, I think you put our friend Tommy on a live watch, bro. Wait, for real? I just saw your first part. LMFAO. He didn't. Yeah, see, this, it's, yeah, no, Matt, I would consider it to probably be worthless content. I mean, not that this is much less worthless, but if you guys, I guess, want to hear a perspective where it's kind of more in favor of Max, maybe it's nice to have something out there like this. But this is, I mean, this is Muda literally talking shit on Tommy C. But then the minute that Tommy C, starts leading the way, Muda's like, oh shit, I better go buddy up to Tommy C now. You see how these guys have zero fucking loyalty, zero fucking backbones? You guys have no backbone. How did you even get to where you're at? It makes no sense to me. Lord knows that you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, but I can tell you firsthand, like, I'm a man who stands by my convictions. That's all I can say is, like, if it's gonna get me in trouble, it's gonna get me in trouble. But I can't imagine, like, jumping back and forth. Officially completely lost now, guys. Bye, guys. Okay, lost. Yeah, well, I don't know how we lost you. This has been pretty, well, I mean, it's Max's video, too, so Max's video is all over the place. But it was good seeing you, J-Sauce. But, like, this right here just shows you, like, flavor of the week. Which ways, like, lick your finger, put it in the air. Which way's the wind blowing? That's the way I'm going, right? Nobody's got the balls to do anything different.
He sent me after he watched it.
God forbid I go against the grain.
Watch, bro.
What's up, Filane?
Wait, for real? Lol, I saw the first part. LMFAO. If he didn't already, he probably should. And now, all of a sudden, he is pretending to be best friends with Tommy C. Someone he constantly talks shit about.
How does this not, like, anybody with any kind of logical sense sees this and goes, wow, Mudahar's kind of a shitty guy.
I mean, I've had this discussion with Tommy recently.
I'm a man of constant sorrow.
I have respect for Tommy C. I talked to him, and I think if he's going to say something, there's probably some weight to it.
Most of you will have no idea how hilarious this is.
If Tommy C says something, I'm gonna believe him because Tommy C's a man well regarded on the YouTube space. Everybody looks up. No, they fucking don't, dude.
Is to hear, but other YouTubers who have heard Mudahar talk about Tommy C behind.
There's a reason that Tommy C was on Locale Live. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a reason he was on Locale Live.
Doors will know that he is bullshitting all of you. For example, before we started recording for the Some Ordinary podcast, Mudahar told me not to worry about Tommy Senile because nobody has any respect for him anyway. He has no respect for Tommy C. He has no respect for any other creator. He has zero respect for his own audience.
A lot of people watching YouTube cannot critically think anymore. So when that video came out, and I was like, I'm reading the comments, I'm like, yo, they're eating this shit up. What the?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? If you know that you can manipulate an audience, he's gonna do it, right? Did we just learn that with Modern Paul, right? Social engineering your audience. he's not wrong.
And then, like, I make a video and everyone, and then, like, I make a video and everyone, like, flips. I'm like, you guys are the worst people. You cannot critically think whatsoever.
That is your hero, Mudahar, right there. Thank you, Maya. Thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry, I know this video might get me in a lot of shit this stream because I'm kind of going at a lot of big people, but I really believe in what I'm saying, dude. Like I just can't understand how this person could flip-flop so fast. And then there's literally clips of him saying, my audience, I can't believe that they changed their mind so fast. They are terrible people. You're the one who's telling them to do it, dude. They're trusting you. This is the whole problem, right, Mudahar? It's that your audience has faith in you to lead them the right direction, and you're sitting here making fun of them for trusting you. You guys are a bunch of fucking morons, let me just tell you. All right, I can't believe you trusted me. I can't believe you all trusted me to tell you the right thing.
It's not that your audience can't critically think. It's the fact that we have misplaced our trust in you.
Thank you.
Furthermore, why did you sleep on this Camden Gerard Davis case for 3 years only to expect multiple influencers to immediately jump on it as soon as you start discussing it? Why tell people to hurry up and discuss it, such as making videos about critical, not immediately responding to you, when you yourself didn't respond about this case for 3 years? People tell me about allegations all the time. I don't really know what's real and what's not until I actually look into it. Spencer kept messaging me, and once she invited me to the Discord server with the other survivors, that's when I realized, oh shit, this is important. I should have exercised patience, as they have done, but it was just so sad to see all of them.
Okay, this is a good way for me to kind of give my 2 cents on this, because I do get emails a lot from people who are telling me, you need to look into this guy. You need to look into this guy. Like, I saw what you did with this guy. You need to look into this guy. Soul's still Discord friends with MP, waiting for him to unfriend me, though. He might try to win you back one day, Soul. You never know. But It's like the MP thing, Saul. Right when that all started happening, I was hesitant to even talk about it because I wasn't sure if MP was really this horrible guy. And then I talked to Pecan Head, and then I realized, wow, this dude actually kind of sucks. And even there, I was like, all right, well, I'm probably gonna leave enough alone. Pecan Head's got it. And then he died, and then you guys lost your number one defendant, and that's when I started learning more about everything that happened with y'all. And that's when I was like, okay, wow, this is actually a pretty horrible situation. But I get emails all the time from people saying, yeah, there's this guy you need to look at, there's this guy you need to look at, and you never know what's real and what's not. And you don't want to go after an innocent person, so...
They kept trying and trying and trying to tell their story, and no one wanted to listen. And now I'm here, and I'm telling all of my friends, and none of them wanted to listen.
Your involvement would entail a brief 15-minute session, allotting 3 minutes per survivor. A subsequent Q&A is optional.
And no one showed up. Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna launch this case into everyone's face.
Why couldn't you... See, this is my problem, though, Max. Like, why couldn't you just make a video about it? Is that not enough? Like, is it have to be mainstream? Like, why can't you just make a video and that's enough for you? Like, I didn't force anybody to go look at my stuff on Mod or Paul. Would I love to have more eyes on it? Sure. Do I think that the victims deserve more attention? Yeah. But I would never, ever force someone to look at it and talk about it and represent it. It just, I don't know. It just seems so weird to me that you thought this was a possibility and that, you know, your story, like, you had to have everybody. If it didn't go mainstream, it was a fail. And I think part of you knows that you wanted it to go mainstream for attention. I mean, how can you not? You're a content creator. That's right, Ruggiero.
Charlie.
It's in the
name.
I
was praying, I was hoping that he would just sit down and listen to them. And I know the importance of this case and cases like this will only grow as time continues. So maybe one day it will carry the urgency that it deserves. But Mutahar divided all of the survivors and made sure that they didn't talk. And that's really sad. Because many cases like this often only begin after a public awareness campaign.
And when we found out what else was going on behind closed doors, I'm talking crimes ranging from blackmail, forced labor, child trafficking, I was mortified. So I went to the authorities with a band of fellow shocked ex-members and we blew the proverbial whistle. But they didn't do anything. Fell on deaf ears because they didn't know what they were looking at. So we went to the press. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm on the front page of the New York Times. It's not exactly...
I'm glad you did the MP story, E.G. I missed Pecan's work and thought it was just me questioning him. I'm happy to help. I mean, it's probably aside from like what I did with SP, like I think it's one of the most important stories I've ever covered.
Imagining my life would be when I started out as an actress, but here we are. After that, the rest is cult history.
Well, I would never put it on my friends
in Mexico, a 6-week trial, 4-hour deliberation, and ultimately a 120-year prison sentence for Nexium's founder. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Also, why did you lie about certain predators being in police custody, such as Zach Haddad, aka Pablo Sunny, when in reality you didn't know if he was in police custody? I was just dispensing the information that I was given.
So just for quick context, Pablo Sunny is a child predator we found on IMVU. He has multiple victims that I made contact with on the platform, and I confirmed that he was grooming minors via direct investigation. We verified his face with a specific hand gesture, and his voice can be confirmed by his friends. You can watch the full videos if you want more detail, but here's a paraphrased version of our call.
You know, 14 though, like, you know, like...
Sorry,
you
okay.
You know, do you not know, like, what you're doing? Like, you said you were 24, right?
I want you to know that I know that what I did was wrong, and I'm sorry, and I'm really just begging you, like, sincerely, just, like, you know, you realize I would go to jail? Like, I would go to jail for, like, 10 years.
But don't I, like, I already have a face, like...
I don't know,
Give it up, Halter Top's not becoming Fetch. Fetch is not happening, Soul.
What are you gonna tell her, though? You're really gonna do that? Like, why do you want to ruin my life? Like, why? Like, can we
why
just?
do you want to ruin my life? Why do you want to tell everybody how much of a scumbag?
I was, you know, going through a hard time. Like, there's a lot of shit that I was going through, and you know, I just was lonely.
I'm sorry, I don't care if you're going through the worst time ever. Like, I've been through bad times, and never once did I ever think, oh, you know what? Maybe I should start hitting on kids. Sorry, never crossed my mind. I don't care what kind of hard time you're going through. That's never an option. You either are about that or you're not. It doesn't matter what instance of what you have going on in your life. Looking at internet culture, and we wonder why friendly aliens haven't made... Yes, exactly, E-Shift. They take one look at YouTube and go, oh my god, the human race sucks.
Like my life is like really hard, and I have to take care of really scary. Like I'm gonna get like fucking, I'm like not strong. Like I'm gonna get fucking like beat up and raped in prison. Like you want that to happen to me because we talked for one day?
You deserve
After our videos were released, he was exposed to his local community at the Vancouver music scene, many of which I made contact with. Here are the Instagram messages between me and Zach Haddad's former friend. Hey, making an update video on Zach. Would you like to do an interview for it? Hey man, thanks for the message. Last I heard, he was in police custody. I thought this a fair bit these past few days. I respect your platform and the way you unveiled this information. All of us in the community are still dealing with the weight of it daily, but it gets better only with time. I think I'd rather not do an interview for the video, but would be happy to share my words in written form with you as long as I can remain anonymous. Those closest to me and closest to the situation know how I feel about it, and I posted my thoughts a little while ago after processing this. I am happy to contribute my words to the video, but that's as far as I'm willing to be involved for my own comfort level. No worries, man. A written statement will work just as well. Hey, we have not heard anything on Zach Haddad for a couple of months, either from authorities or peers. We are still in contact with his victims wanting to testify against him. Do you know anything that could help us? Hey Max, thanks for reaching out. We haven't heard any updates about him at all since your video in November, and the whole community here has essentially tried to heal and move on healthily. We will continue to condemn his actions and stand with any victims while trying to build a safer scene here, but nobody knows anything new, or even where he is. Here are some Instagram messages between me and his former roommate. Hey, has the police put out a statement? I figure they asked everyone to not work with us, but I want to be sure they're actually doing something. Haven't heard anything yet. Do you or anyone has the contact information of the investigator assigned to the case? We have the hotel Zach is staying at and want to give them the information if they're going to use it. We are trying to leave this off of our hands now as we've done all we can. We're still dealing with the aftermath of his eviction and providing support for the people who are closest to him. We don't have any contact for the investigators. For now, we would like some space as we are also grieving and processing this situation. We also appreciate all the help.
You are not intelligent enough. Look at what this man's wearing. It's a banana hat with his name on the front of it. How am I ever going to want to work with humans?
Hey, sorry to bother you, but we have not heard anything on Zach Haddad for a couple months, either from authorities or peers. We are still in contact with his victims wanting to testify against him. Do you know anything that could help us? Unfortunately, I don't. Haven't heard from any of his family, and the law enforcement didn't take any action after we all gave statements and offered any evidence in the house. Thank you for your response. Do you know anyone who has contact with him, or know if he's still with his girlfriend when this all happened? Nobody that I know of is in contact with him, and they are not together. And here are some Instagram messages between me and one of his former victims.
Zach Haddad is the guy who I guess was one of the people that Mama Max exposed.
Hi, I'm a victim of Zach Haddad's grooming and luring of young girls. He did not do this online, but in person while he was 19-20 and I was 15.
I heard that too, he does live in a cat house.
The sensationalizing and dramatizations in the video were unnecessary. I know you have made plenty of money off of this video of yours. I ask that you donate the proceeds to victims of his that need therapy. To keep this AdSense and Patreon money to yourself is selfish and wrong. You do not get to capitalize off of young girls' trauma.
I think that's a fair point, right? Like the dramatics that he uses to push victims and stuff, use their stories to monetize himself. I think that makes sense.
I hear that you're a victim of his. You have my gratitude for reaching out. I've been asking some of his ex-friends for a GoFundMe link, but no one has sent me anything yet. But I will happily make a donation. I'd also like to clarify none of my videos are monetized, and I only dramatize the content so that people will start to pay attention, which seems to have worked. Most of my audience are CSA victims, and they have been the ones requesting me to push my content in this direction, so I hope you can understand. Thank you for your quick reply. If I can help in any way in regards to exposing...
I don't like that. It seems like he's putting it on his friends. My friends are the ones telling me to be all dramatic and stuff. They might have, but at the same time, you just need to be like, listen, it's entertainment, okay? You know, it's like the same thing a show would do, okay? My job is to be an entertainer. I can't get hung up on what victims are feeling. You know, you know, it's part of the gig.
Zach, let me know. During this time, I went on a few podcasts and explained what was going on based on the information I had. Since this was a developing story, I make it clear that I don't know the full details.
What is your primary goal? Is that then? There's no. What's your other?
Well, I guess the question is like the Nick's getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video.
Right.
The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You
Yes.
played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him.
No worries, man,
man.
Rambles.
You wanted his docs.
I'm gonna get through this part, and then we're gonna wrap it up for part 1. Because we're only about halfway through. Ain't no way I'm getting this all done tonight.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
And out of that, I said find him, and then within 24 hours, we found him. And then I started social engineering all of his friends to give me his information, and they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico.
Wow.
I don't know if the police. He was from Canada, so I don't know if the police asked him to come back.
That's all terrible people are.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the police asked him to come back, or he went on his own volition, or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
So you lied.
No, Nicholas. Let's play the full clip.
He went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time. I don't know if they did anything yet, but I will be making an update video about him soon.
So he was arrested at some point. It's fair to say that. You know that.
Yeah, see, Nick, I'm pretty sure Nick cut it right there, too. Which is just kind of shows you how he likes to kind of twist the narratives a little bit to sell it to his audience the way he wants them to see it. Clip chimping, they call it.
He was arrested, or they just like interrogated him. Like, you know how police they don't have to arrest you to question you,
right?
Because I don't know if his victims. He did have previous victims before my video. I don't know if they ever spoke to the police about it. I was talking to one of them, but she hasn't been responsive recently. So I'm in the dark so far. But we're gonna get back on that after we finish this shit with YouTube.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Huh. Pretty funny how these commentary channels keep cutting out context to these clips. And then
that changes a lot of context. That changes a lot of fucking context. I'm sorry, it does.
Misquoting me completely to things that I never actually said.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested. It was because of me. It was because of my video.
So it's starting to look more like they...
No, Nick, that's clearly not what he said at all, unless you are hearing something completely different. Apparently, Nick put out a video that, like, where he responds to this, but I haven't heard it yet.
Lying. And I
find it hard to justify why you'd cut that part out, though, Nick.
Being completely honest and transparent. Regardless, I clarified Zakadad's fate in the subsequent video.
So the hunt continues. We theorize that they will try to find sanctuary in the Philippines where they have family. So all of my viewers who are Filipino, wag mahiyang i-re-upload ang video nito at yung huling video na naisalin sa sarili niyang wika sa inyo na ring ang makita sa ad. Basta ipalaganap niyo ang mensahe.
A little dramatic, a little
So I
overdramatic.
don't think I lied. I'm not here to meme on you or make fun of you.
Yeah, I don't see it as a lie right now. You know, he was honest about it. I think this is probably, though, where a good spot to stop. Editing to get a click. Yeah. Nick's never done that. Never. Nick, no way. I think this is probably a good spot to stop, though, because I think this would be a good part to pick up. So we're at 118. I need to bookmark this somewhere. I don't know where. Just 118. Okay. That's all I try. So 118.16. So remember that for me, sweetie, please. For the love of God, because Lord knows I can't. Anyway, guys, part 1, Mama Max. We're not going to be covering this on Thursday, though, because we have a special treat for you guys on Thursday. I'm going to be going over my back and forth emails with Mater Paul. So you guys have a lot to look forward to there. But I wanted to take a break from him. After the emails, I'm hoping that I'm done with the Mater Paul stuff, assuming he doesn't talk to me anymore. But other than that, you know, yeah, that's about it. You know, I'm hoping to be done with that dude, okay? He's taking up too much of my time. He's taking up too much real estate on my channel. But again, like I said, y'all love those. You guys enjoy those videos. So at the same time, I like to give you guys what you like to watch as well. So I'm not ignorant to that fact. And I realize that a lot of people are invested in the story. I'm not just going to cut it off for the sake of cutting it off. But I told you that I would read the emails if he emailed me back, and I'm going to do that. So let's raid K-Huck. Is she talking about the same thing I am? What is she talking about, Blue Jay? Because I'm going to raid her on Thursday. I am going to raid her on Thursday. It does on the screen. Agree. K-Huck asked us to. Oh, they asked you to raid her. Okay. I mean, we could raid K-Huck if she asked. Soul doesn't like. Nobody like looking at him. You kidding me? You kidding me? All right. Let me switch back over so that I can set this up. K-Huck always be getting all my raids, man. K-Huck gets all my raids. But that's okay. She friendly. She my friend. And this is what you do. You take care of friends. I swear, though, if K-Huck ever turns her back on me, I swear to God, there'll be a reckoning. K-Huck, if you turn your back on me, there's nowhere you can run. There's nowhere you can hide. I will send the Lycans after you. She's talking about Max's second video? Okay, so they'll just jump ahead. Just jump ahead. But at least it's somewhat similar. So in case you guys are interested in jumping ahead in the story and want to see what she wants to say about it, that's fine. Blue Jay, you should be getting paid by her, though, at this point. You should be getting paid by K-Huck for always constantly having me send people over there. Are you on the payroll yet, ma'am? MP is a work of art, just saying. Yeah, he really is. He really is. I mean, it's a story that just keeps on giving. So, you know, that's what I got to say about that. Oh my God, Himpleton's talking about it too. And Moreau's talking about Saber Spark. Of course he's talking about Saber Spark. How many people does Himpy have watching right now? Last time I rated Himpleton, though, he didn't even say thank you. So thank you, Tanya. Was it? I'm not gonna rate Himpleton. I'm just looking to see what kind of numbers he's doing right now. Why is his he's gotten ratioed so bad you can't even find his channel. Oh, he's only got 11 people watching. I know, Matt. Take care, brother. What's up, Nerd City? How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother. I hope you'll look back and see what I had to say. I think I was pretty darn fair to Mama Max, and I think that, you know, there's a lot of real serious misinformation that took place in these what was happening to him. So, all right, fine, I'll do K-Huck. Yes, I'm glad so many of you are finally starting to see the gloriousness that is Nerd City. All right, I put K-Huck there. Now I'm going to be rating her Tuesday and Thursday, though. Next time I'm rating Himpleton. But see, that's why I wanted to do someone different, because I'm rating K-Huck Thursday as part of as like a 2-part series. But I guess, all right, next week, though, I'm not just rating K-Huck just for the sake of Blue Jay, okay? I'm doing it tonight because she asked politely. It's not that I don't love K-Huck, but, you know, there's other creators out there who need the love too, you know? I can't just selfishly raid only one person. I got to raid multiple channels, okay? I got to help out. I got to help out whoever I can help out. With that said, though, I will see you guys on the next one. Is that good? Does that work? I always like nerds, as you should, Rajira. As you should, Rajira. Everybody should always watch Nerd City. He's top tier content, best content creator, best commentary channel, period. Point blank, period. All right, guys. I got to get out of here. Much love to you all. We'll continue this probably next Tuesday when we'll finish that video. And then we got a second Mama Max video to watch as well. The story continues. But just this should be a good lesson for all of you to always question everything you see on the internet, okay? I don't even know if K-Huck's agreeing with what I'm saying. She might be just straight up roasting him, which I hope she's not. I hope she's being fair. You know, I think that's important. You always want to be fair. So if you guys go over there and K-Huck has the complete opposite opinion than I do, I guess, you know, that'll be fair for you guys to listen to as well. But I personally think that Mama Max kind of got fucked over big time. That's my take. And I think Nexpo is a bit of a sleazeball. But with that said, guys, peace out, Girl Scouts. I'll see you guys on the next one.